Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello? We're two rats that came together because of one man.
Adam, designated driver, baby. The rats need to be fed on schedule or they'll get sick.
In this episode, Shelley and I will be discussing the movie House of Gucci. You are listening to Great Driver.
I love how we have different versions of Gucci. Maurizio. Mo.
It's like looking into a mirror or something.
A Gucci mirror, yeah.
It's a Gucci mirror. It has to be a Gucci mirror. It's shaped like a G, and it's got then it's reflective in
Yes,
the middle.
like the ring. Like in the
Like
ring.
the ring. Is this a size 9?
It is a size 10.
My pinky grew.
My pinky grew.
It got bigger.
It got bigger. Among other things.
Whoa.
My pride. What did you
Maurizio in his 30s is way more suggestive than the Maurizio in his 20s.
Yes. Maurizio is like a little moose. A little quiet moose. Buff.
I tell you what, when I play football, I plow through my cousins like a fucking moose.
Not the moose, but the moose.
The moose. I'm a fucking
no.
elk. Definitely not laughing like him, though. I'm just like going back to Shannon when I'm laughing. It's like, oh, that's so funny.
That's so funny.
It's so funny. Hee hee. I don't even know how he laughs. I don't.
Oh no, ow.
Oh no,
Oh no, ow. Dude, I quote you sometimes. I'm like, oh no, ow. I hit my toe the other day and I went, oh no, ow.
I might as well become a little doll and you pull the string and then I say a fucking oh no, ow.
Oh no, ow.
So where did you get the sweater?
I got it off of Vinted.
Vinted?
Yeah, it's like sort of like eBay where you can like buy used clothes. So it's like a secondhand app, basically.
So is it pretty close to the sweater he's wearing?
Yeah, it's the closest one I've seen yet, and I was like, it was only $15. I was like, hell yeah.
Wow.
It's like pretty close. And then the glasses, my friend Nick also does Kylo cosplays. And he sent me a link to these on Etsy because these are like almost the exact same ones that he wears.
You're so good at finding like the exact things. Yeah.
It was once a mission of mine. I mean, it still is, sort of.
I feel like that's the whole thing with cosplay is to get as close and accurate as possible. I cannot wait to show you the videos that I recorded.
Oh my God, yes.
They're so funny. There was one that it was like she's like remember at the dance or the party she's like, do you want to dance? And he's like, no. And then he goes and dances.
And then he goes, yep.
So what I did was I just started doing like these ridiculous dance moves because Maurizio can't dance.
Yeah, baby.
Like at first I kind of did like a little jig like this, and then I started doing like the sprinkler, and then the robot, and then I flossed, and then I just started twerking.
Maurizio Gucci twerking. I need to see that.
I got to shake my ass on the floor. I had to shake it. I'll shake it what my father gave me.
Baby.
Shake it, baby. Did the ass come from the Italian side or the German side? Probably the Italian side.
The height of Maurizio Gucci, that is German.
That is the German. I love that detail because Adam is German. So then it feels kind of accurate with his features that he would look German. And so more brilliant casting.
I don't think he looks German, to be honest. He doesn't look German. I mean, the Maurizio version of him looks German, yes.
Yeah, he does look a little more white.
Yeah, but Adam doesn't look German at all.
No.
Well, I mean...
Well, I know he looks indigenous, but like besides that, what do you think he like looks most like with like him? Probably Scottish, maybe, right? I think he looks Scottish a lot because when I think of the movie Braveheart, the guy was also in Charlie's Angels. He's the guy with the long black hair and like the scar on his face. Mm-hmm. Him and Adam have very like similar features. Okay. I mean,
Scots have like a lot of them have black hair.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm gonna think a little more on that.
Yeah. Look at you with your coffee and my coffee, but yours is probably hot. Is it hot? You just did the Patrizio, like look.
I did the Patrizio. I am not a particularly ethical person, but I am fair.
I'm teaching my daughter Alessandra a lesson. You can on stealing.
Paola, can I ask you a question? Have you ever stolen something?
Well, hello. Nice to see you again as well. Thank you.
Yeah. Here's a fucking strudel. Bitch.
Oh, hello there. Which would me?
Ciao.
About 10 years from now? Yeah, something like
Ciao, ciao.
that. Ciao.
You are the younger, more silent version of Maurizio now.
Drowning in the lawyer books and fucking legislation, you know, just the same old shit.
Same old shit. And I am drowning in tax forms and a little bit of fraud.
My wife is an asshole.
My wife wants to kill me.
Well, not yet. She gave it, a couple years, I think.
Yes.
So, yeah, my roommate thought it would be pretty funny if I did the Maurizio accent the entire time. And I was like, well, I can try. It's kind of hard to do that the entire hour fucking long this is going to be.
I don't think I'll be able to do it that long.
It's quite fresh because I just watched the movie like 6 hours ago. So it's very fresh.
Me too.
How many times have you seen House of Gucci? Because that was my second time, so it's still not fully like,
Yeah. In the movies, 4 times. I went to the movies 4 times.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And then at home, I mean,
How many times have you seen Logan Lucky? Because it's been out about 4 years now. Oh well, 3,
Logan Lucky I've watched way more than House of Gucci, but it's up there. Yeah. I mean, it's a very long movie, so usually when I do watch it, it's always with someone that hasn't watched it yet.
Sure.
So it's not one of those movies you can watch just to, have a good time. You gotta think and really understand what's happening,
Yeah, I as we probably learned from the Logan Lucky episode, I do miss things. And so I didn't realize this movie I'd be like missing things. And then I kind of was watching other videos about stuff and I was like, oh, and it like connected this. And I was like, I did not realize. Because it's like I'm noticing things and I'm like, why are they like showing that? Yeah. And then they connect it later. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So, well, luckily I figured that out on my second watch and not my 10th or something.
The day before yesterday, I watched it, and there were multiple things that I hadn't understood, because I really had to make sure that I understood the movie because we're going to be talking about it, so I had to do my homework.
Right.
And there were multiple things that now got cleared up for me.
Yeah.
I was like, now I understand that, or that interaction, or what he meant by that, or
Damn you, Ridley! Yeah. Gotta always be so sneaky.
Gotta make us think.
Sneaky and fast, apparently, is his mottos that I made for him just now. But sneaky and fast. But before we kick into House of Gucci, we should probably talk about any updates that we have about Adam. This was his last week. Hold on to me, darling. Last night was his last performance. The 13 weeks are now up.
Yeah. That was so quick.
So fast.
Oh, it would be a dream to watch that, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be more plays that he's going to do. He's a theater kid, Yeah. He's through and through. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be more Broadway and off-Broadway shows that he will be partaking in.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the last one he did was Burn This, and that was 3 years ago, right? Yes?
It was, no, I think it was either it was right before Rise of Skywalker or right after.
Okay. Because he did look kind of, well, not saying he looked old now or something, but he looked young, in the
posters.
The posters and just the outdoor footage of people meeting him and stuff. You know what I mean? Where he looks wet, like he's been rained on and stuff. I just don't want to wait that long.
2019, yeah. So yeah, then it was before, right before Rise of Skywalker.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, March 2019.
Man, I don't want to wait another 5 freaking years to see that man in a theater.
I have yet to,
I know. I don't mean to be I saw it, so. Sorry, Shelley.
I got to see him online. I met him online.
Yes. I guess I should have did that, FaceTimed you and then you screen record. Can you imagine? Hey!
What's up, Adam? How you doing? What's up, baby? Like Spike Lee.
It'd be funny if you're just hello.
In cosplay, too.
He's gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You've got to be kidding me. Be gone, child.
Look, I won't say if, I'm going to say when we have our Adam Driver experience together, which could be at a premiere, could be something, we should go and cosplay.
For sure. For sure.
He's going to be like, I got to talk to those people that look like me over there. Or he's going to be like, I'm
the other way.
He's going to be like, I'm not going near them. He's like, he's like, oh no, I said I would never do another Comic-Con. Never. Well, we definitely won't do Kylo Ren because then he'll definitely steer clear.
Yeah.
Maybe whoever he's playing, we could figure out something or
something new. Yeah.
Something new. Or we could pin our ears back and be Enzo Ferrari.
Another Italian, yes.
Another Italian. Adam! Hey, do you remember me? The second Italian you've played. Instead of about the clothes, it's about the cars.
I am only fan of a real Ferrari.
or we just go as Clyde, because then, then we could buy fake prosthetic arm things.
Oh my god. Or Flip. Flip's a good one too.
That might be cozy. Just flannel and jeans.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen that, so I know. But I will now with this podcast. We're going to see everything now.
Yes. Which is good, because if you have like a fresh eye on it, then, you'll have a different take.
Yeah. And I mean, I've seen some footage because I made an edit, so it's not like I'm completely blind to it of what I've seen. I like his character in it, but I guess it's a movie that I thought I would watch with someone with my first watch, and it just never happened. So, but if I'm watching something for the podcast, then I am watching it by myself.
You and me. Black Klansman night.
Yes. Oh yeah, that'd be kind of cool to watch a movie together with you.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But then we might be talking the whole time.
And pause. So Shannon.
About an hour and a half. How long did it take you to watch it? 4 hours. 4.5 hours. We might as well have watched fucking Lord of the Rings extended version.
Literally.
See, I was going to say that. See, movies don't seem long to me because I've literally watched all 3 Lord of the Rings extended versions in an entire day. So it's literally...
in a day?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's 12 hours of my life. Just...
Goodness. Pure goodness.
Anyways. That's the only thing I can say. Dragons.
We swerved into Lord of the Rings. That can happen with me.
Yeah.
That's always a possibility.
I literally have the One Ring tattooed on my ribs.
Oh my god. Yes, please show us.
I'm going to show you my Lord of the Rings tattoo.
Oh, I love it. Oh, yes.
I don't think you realize how tatted I am. I would say the most meaningful tattoo that I have right now is of Adam.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Adam's is the most important one right now. Yeah. Baby boy.
He's a great man.
He is.
Just the other day, he helped me again. And when I say this, I think I said it before actually on the podcast. He's my quote unquote Jesus, not as in a worshiping sort of.
What would Adam do?
Exactly. What would Jesus do? Well, no, I always go, what would Adam do? And it always helps. Yeah. It always helps. I was like, what would he do in this situation? And literally everything cleared up. It just took so much weight off of me. He's my Jesus. Works every damn time.
I love that you kind of can think and know what he would do, because honestly, he's a little unpredictable. So then part of me is thinking well, I don't know what the fuck he would do.
Well, I mean, it's only based off of what I do know of him, Sure.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I'm sure, maybe in his private life, he's completely different. Maybe. You never know. But the version in my head that I have, it helps me. And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's accurate. I feel like it is. From what I've witnessed of him and his vibes, and from what he says in interviews about himself, or, just the way he handles certain situations too. If someone's being disrespectful to him, the way he then, handles the situation, that's very applicable,
Someone's been disrespectful to him in an interview?
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah, calling him ugly or not the stereotypical pretty boy of Hollywood, stuff like that. Oh yeah. Or if they're trying to pry, basically. And he'll just shut that down very respectfully. But yeah.
Girl, I'm not taking any of that shit. okay, I've heard people ask about like his face.
Mm-hmm.
And well, first of all, like, why would you phrase it like that? Like, hey man, what's up with your face? I was born this way. I don't know what you want me to do. But also, it's kind of like, I've seen interviewers bring it up in a way that isn't like backhanded. Mm-hmm. Well, like Stephen Colbert basically was like, you're like a millennial heartthrob. I've even seen fans call him, how is he ugly and hot at the same time?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that's not it though. That's... Yeah, like what do you... It's like they don't have the words to articulate what they mean.
Yeah, it's just not a way to treat a person, period. Saying things like that, you know. Plus, it's not true. He's gorgeous.
No.
Just because he's not, you know, he doesn't look like fucking Chris Hemsworth, which, by the way, does nothing for me, you know. But I can still say Chris Hemsworth is a beautiful man. I can still say that.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm attracted to him.
Yeah.
Just like Adam. Adam Driver is a beautiful man, inside and out. But just not everybody's attracted to him. And that's okay. How boring would that be? Come on. If everybody was attracted to the same type of person, that would be so boring. Come on.
It would be boring and it would be really hard to get your own.
Mm-hmm. Literally. I can also respect people saying, okay, they're not attracted to him. He doesn't do anything for them.
Right.
Again, that's fine.
Yeah.
Totally fine. The thing about saying, oh, he is ugly or he's not attractive or, you know, whatever, that's disrespectful no matter who you are, you know?
100%.
Saying that to a person, like, if I were to say that to you, that's just disrespectful and mean, you know?
I think one time James McAvoy was, he was on Graham Norton and he was talking about how when he had met a fan or something, said that my friend is like into this person, but I'm into you instead. And it's backhanded because it's like signifying that he's not the same kind of hot as the other guy is. And it's just like, well, they're both hot, like in their own way, and you're allowed to have a type. Yeah. Like Joe Keery from Stranger Things. I never found him hot. And I understand why people think he's hot, but he doesn't do it for me. But I've never ever said like he's ugly because he's not. He doesn't do it for me. Exactly. Brad Pitt doesn't do it for me. Do I get why he's hot? Yes. Doesn't do it for me. It's like we all have a type. So yeah. So shut the fuck up about my face.
Exactly. You can have your opinions, just don't feel the need to share them with us. And that also was an Adam Sackler quote. So
one more time, what was the quote?
Well, the actual quote is, you can think it all you want, but don't feel the need to share it with me.
Yeah.
It was between him and Jessa.
Oh, yes. Well, it's funny that he says that because Sackler will just say what he thinks regardless. So it's funny how he puts that boundary up for him, but he...
That's true.
Anyways, so we're going to circumvent back to the original again. Yeah. Well, the last week of, or the last month of Hold On To Me, Darling, that's when everyone decided to go see Adam. I guess because they were wrapping up with their projects and like whatever they were doing. And they're like, oh, I have time to come see you now, Adam. So who do we got? We had Jessica Chastain.
Yes,
went to go see him.
Oscar Isaac.
Short King Daddy.
I love that Oscar Isaac. Whenever Adam has something, whether it's like a movie premiere or a theater production, Oscar is always there supporting Adam. It is the sweetest thing. He's such a cinnamon roll. He's such a sweet bean. He's always supporting Adam. Always. So
and
cute.
I feel like Adam also does, because I think Oscar does theater quite regularly as well. I was also going to say Jarmusch, the director that he has worked with.
Yep, Jim Jarmusch, yes.
I can't think of anyone else right this second, but I know when the opening night came, Tom Hanks was there with his wife, and a few other celebrities came to see him, but mainly there weren't really any photos of Jessica or Jim, but it was
fans confirmed that they were there because they saw them in front of them, few rows in front of them or whatever. Right. But Oscar actually left with Adam the night that he attended his production.
Yeah.
When this comes out, it's going to be like 2 weeks ago, you know?
I know. We're going to be like, happy holidays. And it's going to be like, happy New Year.
So I'm like I'm doing the math in my head. Like, never mind. So a couple of, Oscar went to go see him and they left together, I'm guessing for dinner or something. But
Probably.
I love their friendship. It's so cute.
Yes, I love Oscar's little man bun he had too. That was cute.
Yeah.
Adam should have did one too. His hair's long enough. They could have left with little sprouts in the back. That would have been really cool.
Daisy Ridley, she usually supports him too when she's in the States. But this time around, she just didn't probably have time. Or she slipped in and we didn't know. Well, it's also a possibility, but...
That's true.
Yeah, whenever she's in New York, she always visits Adam, which is so sweet.
I think I read somewhere that he came and like had dinner with her and her parents or something.
Yeah.
And so that's nice that after all this time, because even though The Force Awakens came out in 2015, they filmed all that like way before.
Yeah.
So
I think they started with everything like around 2013.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So that's like almost 12 years of knowing someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wonder if he was at her wedding.
Oh,
That would have been nice.
I think so. I don't see why not.
Yeah. I mean, he's in Europe a lot, so.
Yeah. Like, hey, hubby, this is my on-screen hubby.
Yeah. This is my space boyfriend.
This is my dyad.
This is my dyad.
We touched fingertips. It was very intimate.
Even Luke Skywalker himself, this is the closest thing to a sex scene in Star Wars.
Oh my God. We might as well have gotten an ankle slip or something. Damn. I had a friend. She's like, Shannon, there is a magazine that came out for the 5th year of Rise of Skywalker coming out. And it's just a whole Star Wars like guide or whatever. She's like, there's a 2-page spread of Adam in there. And it's about Kylo, blah, blah, blah. So I sent it to Shelley, because it had information in there that I knew she wouldn't like, but she needed to read it and I needed her input. So this article discussed that Adam was done with Kylo and the Star Wars films. Very negative, made it seem like he doesn't want to be part of the fandom anymore or something. And then there's a part in the tiny little square section by his signature that stated that regardless of how the directors changed or whatever, the arc that was supposed to be was that he was supposed to be very conflicted in the beginning and then very dark side by the end. A very different arc of Darth Vader.
Yeah, basically the exact opposite of Vader.
Yes. And he said, regardless of how that is how he kept his character arc so he could stay consistent in his character, in his realm. And then he said, we weren't even supposed to see Ben Swallow at all. Yeah. And that was not something that was in the plan when they were filming or planning anything. So they kind of just sprung that on him. Also magnificently done, though, for springing on Ben Solo to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
On how to do that. Upon sending this article to Shelley, I got the caps lock was definitely stuck. She was fucking pissed off, saying, "No, fucking no, no!" And
it was angry typing. No!
And then I'm like, I think I said, "I'm sorry." I don't know what I said.
You did. You're like, "I'm so sorry." I was like, that's your fault.
Like I'm the one that like put this on you. I'm just like, here you go. Take it for what you will. And then she sends me not a novel, but like a prologue length of just explaining why this article is bullshit. So, Shelley, please explain why the article is bullshit.
All right. So many of his quotes in this article are taken out of context. It's not one interview. It's just multiple things that he said compiled into this article and taken sort of out of context to make it sound negative. And yes, of course, Adam, we all know that he's very protective of Kylo, so he would never do anything as Kylo anymore that would sort of hurt not the reputation of Kylo, but that would change what he made Kylo to be. So that's why maybe he would have said, "Oh, I'm not doing Kylo anymore," because of that fact, with that in mind. But there were like so many, like I know almost all of the interviews that he's held. In this article, there's just, I can tell like, okay, that one's from 2016, that one's from 2018, that, you can tell it's just like bunched up together and it doesn't really make any sense. And also the way Adam answers questions in interviews, it's always very vague. Like, I mean, obviously I've studied him sort of a little bit over the years, so I know when he's like trying to dodge questions and trying to avoid spoilers or, information that hasn't been released that he's not allowed to release. So that's why I can say from my personal experience, I can say that it's crap. Like that article doesn't make any sense. That he's like, okay, I'm done with Star Wars, adios. I'm pretty sure he would never do like another trilogy. He might not do another full-on movie, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him in the next Rey movie, which supposed to come out in 2026, I think.
Once Shelley kind of broke that down for me, I was just like, okay, we're back in the Kylo may return boat. That boat has not sank or taken or left the port. It is still here and we're in the boat. Although I am sad that we aren't getting a story of Kylo at all. If I know that's written out in comic books and you know things like that, but we're not going to get that from Adam.
Which we will thoroughly discuss in the Star Wars episode.
You guys, the Kylo, it's probably going to be a fucking trilogy or saga of episodes. Our episodes are long enough. Can you imagine us talking about Kylo?
Dude.
Literally.
I could write an essay. I could get my PhD in Kylology.
I wish I was in college a little too young. I think I had graduated college the year that The Force Awakens came out, so I could have never written an essay in college on Kylo Ren if I wanted to, but if I could have, I would have. I just aged myself a lot.
There's a lot to tackle when it comes to Kylo. Yeah, there's a lot.
Yes. So
why we think it's not over, you will hear in those episodes. But just to clarify right now, why that article that Shannon sent me, I don't really think that there's any truth behind that. Well, a little truth, meaning, there's a lot going on in his life right now. He's very, very busy. And that's why he would never, probably, most likely, never take on a whole movie about Kylo.
Yeah.
If he does, thank you. But I kind of doubt that's in the cards right now.
But if it was animated and he voiced it, that wouldn't take as much time.
Yeah, that'd be dope. That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, Adam, come
on. That would be a compromise. Please.
Please.
Okay. I definitely want to see more Baby Ben Solo. I want to see his actual transition. Of course, in the comics. Again, I'm sorry. I'm slowly merging back into Kylo. I need to come back to Mao. Let's go back to Mao.
Okay. All right. So it's been 84 years, but now we're finally going to talk about House of Gucci.
For 82 years, I've been an oil man. Aaron, they have called me. A designer, they have called me. And now what does a designer do? He crushes his enemies,
I'm sorry. Was that a crossover that you just did?
I did, yeah.
Hey, look at me, boy. Hey, look at your father.
Look at your father, boy.
I know what I must do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Or, I can... Okay, go on, do it.
And then he stabs Han and he goes, grazie.
Just to let you know, we're not done yet. Han Solo is not going to save you. I can take whatever I want.
I can take whatever I want. Okay.
All right.
So, House of Gucci came out 2021. Father, Son, and House of Gucci. Directed by Ridley Scott. And the cast includes, of course, Adam Driver, Lady Gaga, Al Pacino, Jeremy Irons, Salma Hayek, and Jared Leto, and many, many more. Yes, great cast. Amazing cast. Yes. Oh, I enjoyed each performance so much.
Yes.
I mean, of course, Adam was phenomenal, as always, but every other actor in this, Al Pacino, I love him so much as Aldo Gucci.
You couldn't hate him. He was so pure despite everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not as pure as Maurizio, but pure for a 70-year-old man.
Yeah. Because he's a 70-year-old man, the sweetness is implied. Yeah. It just comes naturally. Yeah. But Lady Gaga, can I tell you how impressed I am with her?
Yeah. Totally.
Bro.
Yeah.
Her Patrizia Reggiani is amazing. She looks so... First of all, I mean, of course, the makeup and stuff has a lot to do with it, but the way she transformed into Patrizia, mind-blowing.
Yeah, and I have the same makeup artist now that she had then, but they had, the thin 80s lips with that dark outline and, and the perms and, I loved all the hair transformations that her and Maurizio had. That really showed you when in the decades it was. If they didn't put it at the bottom, what year it was, you could just tell by the hair, really.
Exactly. And the wig stylists or artists, they were phenomenal.
I'm like, bitch, where's the hairline? Because you can definitely see mine because I ain't no wig girl. You can see where my hairline is, but I'd be looking at Adam's hair like trying to find the seam.
It was so
could not
good.
be found. That wig's probably several $100s. Like,
it was one of the wigs, because he had multiple ones.
Sure.
That were auctioned off on VIP fan auctions.
Plug.
Yeah, which I'll get back to in a minute. One of the wigs, I think it got sold for like 1,000 something.
God.
And then, of course, another time there was one that was for 200. It was the short one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was it wasn't always the same prices, but yeah. I mean, I got my suit that I got. Mine was 300, and then Kelsey's was 250.
Okay, so I guess one thing that I didn't realize, probably because I'm just not paying attention, is that the beginning of the movie and the end of the movie are the same scene. So they kind of round out the entire movie by ending it with the same scene, but then ending it with more context.
Right.
At the beginning, you're just like, oh, he's just having his espresso and his little and he's having a great time. Then he gets on his little bikey poo, and he's just he's doing great. And for some reason,
it's a nice sunny day.
Yes, and I'm just like, oh, he's just living it, because the next time we see him, he's at the party or whatever. So I just assumed that, I don't know why, because I was like, clearly he has different hair, but for some reason when I would watch it, I'd be like, oh yeah, this is the beginning of the movie, and this is him in his 20s.
Yeah. Slightly grayed hair. Oh yeah, he's 20.
Totally. I mean, I wasn't like, obviously paying attention very well. So, but damn, he looks
so
good.
Basically, it's the first scene is the day of his murder. Basically,
yeah, but you don't know that when you first initially watch it. I have to say that is the most beautiful close up of his hands that I have ever fucking seen in my life.
My mom, you know what's coming. We talked about this before. I watched this with my mom.
Yes.
And then there's a close-up of him, he has a cigarette, and then he takes the cappuccino, or, espresso, or whatever he's drinking. And my mom looks and she goes, those are the most beautiful hands I've ever seen. Oh my God. He has really nice hands.
And his fingernails looked like they probably did like a manicure on them. Like they really, because it makes sense though, if he's that loaded, like that man's hands are like coated in La Mer and fucking just like, so I was just like, oh my God, Adam definitely got like a manicure or something for this scene, because his hands looked so good.
Yep.
Okay, whoever was like the makeup artist on this set, you need to drop what you did, what the hand lotion was.
Because it works. Then he's like smoking, and then he gets on his bike, and then he rides off. And then that's the end of the scene. And then it transitioned to Patrizia Reggiani.
Pulling up in her little, well, I don't even know what kind of car. It's like a red Fiat?
Yeah, something.
Because Fiats are Italian cars, so it kind of makes sense that they keep the cars Italian in the movie. But she pulls up, and she's getting whistled and catcalled, and so they're setting up the reputation of Patrizia being, a ladies' man, or just really hot or whatever.
A ladies' man. Patrizia Reggiani is a ladies' man.
I'm sorry, I fucking haven't slept. I think I meant a lady for the, I don't know.
For the men.
For a lady for the men. Sorry. Anyways.
Yeah.
I can't believe I said that. Ladies' man, huh, Shannon? Oh yeah.
So the movie follows Maurizio Gucci and Patrizia Reggiani, their whole marriage. Like, it is a love story between them until the end. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't know the story behind Maurizio Gucci, he gets murdered.
I watched it without even knowing. So by the end, I was shocked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still get unsettled like when I watch it, because I have to be like, Adam's not dead. Adam's not dead. Adam's not dead. Adam's not dead. The scene where she's getting into the trailer. So she works for her father, who has a like trucking business.
Her stepfather.
Oh, it's her stepfather.
Reggiani. Yeah. He adopted her. That's why her name is Reggiani.
Oh, okay. Was that mentioned in the movie?
No.
Oh, you just knew that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, oh, really?
No, because she calls him by his first name, so maybe it's implied in the movie like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
But her mom married, what was his name? Reggiani. And he adopted her. That's why she has his name.
So she's basically there working, and she's forging his checks. And he's complimenting how how they look just like his signature.
Mhm.
And they have some playful banter about him going out to eat too much and expensive, blah blah blah. So goes to show that it's a successful business, but there's still like, you know, money's still tight. So then she gets a phone call from a guy wanting to go out to a party. She's like, I guess I can go out. So then we see her dressed up with like this masquerade mask thing and this cute little red dress. So she's giving Elizabeth Taylor vibes. Elizabeth Taylor. And and what I didn't notice before, and since this is my second watch, is that the guy that she's with, I guess, might be bisexual. Because he keeps like really looking at the men a little bit more. Yeah. Unless he's just closeted, but or not closeted, but you know what I mean. And then she's like, no. She's like trying to keep his attention on her. And then she decides to go get a drink, and then somebody's behind the bar.
Yes. None other than Maurizio Gucci, who she thinks is the bartender. Again, another bartender role. And guess what she orders?
It's a martini with a lemon twist. Or
so she also orders a martini from the bartender. Parallels.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Patrizia Reggiani going, "Can I have a martini?" And then Clyde Logan, "How do you want it?" You got an ice shortage around here.
Do you want a lemon twist with it?
Would you like a lemon twist with that?
You seem like a girl that likes a lemon. Well, you sure look extra pretty in that red dress. Funny because he's like, I'm not the bartender. And then she's like, then why are you behind the bar?
Why is he behind the bar? Oh, that's right. He doesn't want to dance. He doesn't want to be talked to. So that's why he goes behind the bar and just stays there a little bit.
Then why go to a party if you're not going to do anything?
I don't know. Peer pressure.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't want to be rude. So he just goes anyway.
Yeah. Well, plus, he's studying to be a lawyer, so like he needs to blow off some steam, probably.
Yeah. To
sit in the corner and just serve drinks. But maybe it's like also like a elitist thing where, you know, you have to be seen. You know, because he's a Gucci, so he has to be seen, and so they stay relevant. I guess I don't know.
That makes sense. He's always got somebody watching him, though. That's true.
Yeah. Franco. Yeah, so they hit it off.
I love Maurizio in the beginning. He is just this sweet, shy cutie pie, which is not something that you would expect from someone coming from that kind of wealth. And you know that he's not. And he mentions this kind of. He's like, I'm not that Italian, like, you know, like the whole, like, not cult. What's the word they use? Like the empire. I'm not the
dynasty.
The dynasty. It was diluted from my mother's German blood.
Yeah.
So he doesn't feel as connected to it as the rest of them, right. Which I thought was really funny. But I'm literally like, he is the cutest thing ever. Like, no wonder she's just like, I'm just going to bottle you up and just keep you to myself. And he's just like, okay.
She saw her chance and she took it. I do believe that, I mean, the way Lady Gaga portrays Patrizia, you can tell, yes, she's money hungry. She is a gold digger. Yeah. But I do think that she really did fall in love with Maurizio. Of course, like her reasoning, or like the reason for her to get closer to him is, of course, the money. Yeah. But I think she did fall in love with him. Either way.
Yeah, I don't know. And I tried not to think this in my mind, thinking because I already knew what happened and I had seen it before. I tried to just look at it like, okay, Shannon, just really watch this scene and really kind of figure out like, if this is how you really feel. And I just felt that she was very pushy. And I guess he's tall and hot and but it just seemed like she was so like too much. And I don't know if Maurizio saw it as a way for him to be a little bit more adventurous instead of someone that's, even if she didn't know that he was a Gucci, you know, the moment he said, oh, I'm studying to be a lawyer. And it's just like, oh. And what are the chances that he had never seen her before? And then literally, I don't know how long it had been since the party. And then when she saw him on the street, but it's like when you go further in the movie, it's like she was stalking him.
She was, yeah.
So it's kind of makes me wonder, I was like, was she trying to track him down this whole time? It's just like, there's these little signs of this creepy shit that she'd do early in the movie and things that she would say that are like, you're like, ugh, you know, like,
yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, okay, so of course when you're in love, you're driven by that instinct to want to be closer to that person and want to see that person all the time, all day, every day.
Yeah.
So I think that combined with her excessive behavior, stalkery behavior, you know, and that controlling, domineering behavior, that together probably is what made her just like track him down. But I mean, like, if you think about it, and like back in the day, of course, they didn't have phones like that. You know, they didn't have cell phones. So the only way to interact was to physically see each other.
Yeah.
And if she was like, oh, I am in love with this guy, I need to see him all the time. So of course she's gonna like drop by where he works or where he studies or, you know, where he hangs out, you know. So I feel like it might be taken a little bit too far to say she was stalking him. I think she was just driven by being in love, but also wanting that in, like, oh, I'm in love with him, yes, but he's also a Gucci. This is my chance. So I think that's why she was just a little over the top a little bit with, you know, bumping into him. I mean, I guess you could, well, yeah.
Because I also felt like, because I was just kind of like trying to figure out how I would feel in the situation if I would have reacted the way that she would react to things, like when Maurizio invited her to her father's house. And even though she may have just been nervous meeting his dad, I think she said some things that weren't appropriate. Like, she's like, this painting must have been worth a fortune. Like, why would you bring up
money,
how much something costs instead of just be like, oh my God, it's beautiful.
Exactly,
like, it's just something, it's like, the dad caught that, like, immediately. He was so nonchalant about it. And I remember thinking, wow, the dad's an asshole the first time I watched it. And then I was thinking, oh, dad was right the whole fucking time. Dad was right, because dad knows. Dad's been around to know what these people are. So even if they look like they have good intentions in the beginning, eventually they show their real side. It wasn't until he put a ring on it and they finally got married did she start to kind of show a little bit more of her true colors. And then he noticed that slowly.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't think that it was love. I think she was like, oh, he's gorgeous and tall and this and that. And then when she realized how much wealth was behind him, then she's like, oh, well, I gotta put myself in this man.
Yeah. Because I feel like like in that moment where before he says his name, where she's like, oh, can I get a martini, whatever. And then he goes, oh, I'm not the bartender. She's like, oh, and then you can see like, oh, she's interested. Like, she finds him attractive.
Right.
But the minute or the second he says, oh, I'm Maurizio Gucci, her eyes just go, you know, and you're like, I know. It's the name.
Yep. Like, I would want to ship them, but I can't, because I kind of just see through her abrasiveness.
Yeah.
There's just something really grating about it. But all credit to Gaga because she's like, I have to play her. I have to like her. But Patrizia isn't likable. You know, so in order for her to do that, she had to find a way to like her and understand her thought process with everything. And she was just fucking obsessed with Maurizio. Obsessed.
Well, her true nature, Patrizia's true nature is not likable. But the facade she puts up is very likable. Yes. Which is why she got as far as she did.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They go on. I want to talk about their date, because that was so cute. The way that he's so oblivious to, like, he's like, you want to go on a date with me? And she's like, and he's like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah, sure. I'll take you out.
And then she takes out lipstick and writes her phone number on his windshield of his little scooter or Vespa. I'm guessing it's a Vespa.
It threw me off because there were only 6 numbers. So I was like, or were there 7? I looked and I was like, why are there only 6 numbers? And then I was just like, oh, well.
Maybe, well, I don't know. Well, I mean, in Italy, they probably just have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Different, what's it called?
With the area code?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Or like, you know, sometimes here, if you're dialing locally, you don't have to dial an area code. So maybe there it's like just the 6 numbers for their. Okay. So see, we talked this out. Shannon's not confused anymore. But yeah, their date is so cute because what was it at the beginning? They're like, are you hungry? Do you want to eat? And they go by this restaurant. And then she's like, again, bringing up the money. Oh, so it's too expensive. I can't afford it. And then she's like, okay, I'll try. And then she's I think she's hoping he'll like pay for it.
Well, like, the way she does it, too, she's like, oh, no, I can't. Like, she tries to be modest, you know? She's like, oh, no, I can't afford it. And then he's like, oh, okay, we'll just go. And then she pulls him back in.
Yeah.
That also is like, okay. And then, of course, it's too expensive, so they come back out. And then they go to this, what are they called? It's like a pastry, with filling in it, like tomato sauce.
Oh, well, the first thing that came to mind was an empanada, but I know it's not an empanada.
No.
It's like, but the outer
Italian
coat looks
version.
like it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah. There's a word for it, but something with a P, I think. Let's Google it real quick. Because I feel like we definitely need to like put that in there.
Speaking of Italian pastries, I fucking love cannolis.
Panzerotti. That's what they're called.
What is it?
Panzerotti.
Oh, yeah. So like a round pastry?
I mean, it's basically like an empanada, but it's like tomato sauce in there and cheese.
Well, I was trying to figure out like
That's
what
right.
it translated to, because pans could mean bread. Pan.
Yeah.
And then roti, like, not round, but I don't know fucking.
Probably like red sauce or something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Tomato sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, so they go to like a very humble food truck stand and eat panzerotti. By the way, there's like a little improv moment where he like drips tomato sauce on his tie or something, or is it his tie, or like, on himself?
Yeah.
And then she like rubs it away and is like taking care of him and stuff and making sure he looks good again. It was so cute.
I do have to add also, because I feel like I eventually wanted to make a compilation of like all like clips of Adam eating, because he is the most awkward eater I think I've ever seen. Like
Really?
eating anything. Yes. He ate, he was just like, like he's not, he was like, you're just like, bro, like
Catch that.
it's like you see it coming and he's just like, and there's another like a scene where he eats something kind of like awkwardly and you're just like, dude, is there something about him eating like on screen where he's just like,
maybe
don't know
he's worried
how.
about the makeup or something.
Anyways, except when he's eating cereal, that he's most comfortable eating, I guess. But if it's not cereal, then
And rotisserie chicken. You
just pour it into the
bite into that shit. Yeah.
So then they get on his little, you called it a Vespa, and then they end up going to the river or pier or whatever it is, and they get on in a little canoe, and it's all foggy and romantic, so no one can see anything.
I remember when those photos came out, like before the movie came out.
Yeah.
Oh, people lost their shit. Rats, mostly, of course.
Sure.
And Gaga stands, of course.
Yeah.
Those photos, it was like royalty being spotted, It's like, oh my God.
It was, and like her pantyhose was like ripped and shit. I was like, what happened?
Really?
I thought so. It looked like she was wearing white stocking, and then like you could see her bare leg, unless it was like the little like garter belt thing, like came off or something. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I just saw it like.
Oh, that's why maybe people thought, oh my God, that's the sex scene or something.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Because she had taken her jacket off as she folded it, and then you just kind of saw her legs like a little bit bare. But that kiss, like I was just looking at his mouth, just like that little cute pucker that he does, and I was just like, oh my God.
You could definitely tell that in that scene that Maurizio is very shy, and he's not a ladies' man at all. Like he's very insecure, probably, and not very confident around women.
Yeah.
So, and you could tell in that scene, like that, all of that, her being so forward was very new to him,
Yeah.
And the scene, oh my God. Okay. So of course they're being followed by Franco, which is, sort of like the family butler, bodyguard. And he follows Maurizio around while he's on his dates with, Patrizia. And you could see in that moment where they kiss, you can see Franco and he's just like, smiling and he's all happy for him. So you're like,
yeah,
I guess
it's
this
so
is a
cute.
good thing,
Yeah, he can tell
adorable.
that he's having a good time and that, yeah. It's so
He's like, okay, I feel confident that this woman isn't gonna, murder him. At least not right now.
Then we talked about, the dinner that they had with the dad and
Rodolfo.
And it seems to go really well, but you can tell that Maurizio is concerned based on some of the things that she said and the way he responds, that even though he's being polite and pleasant, he's looking at his dad like, oh, fuck. Like, because, he wants his dad to,
be impressed,
yeah.
Or accept her.
Accept it, yes, yeah.
And then you can tell that the dad, of course, is very, like, elitist, he's, like, very, arrogant. when it comes to like money, and because her, of course, like we said before, her dad or her stepdad owns a transportation company.
Yes.
And he just kind of plays it off like, oh, he's just a truck driver, sort of. Which there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Sure.
But in his eyes, it's beneath him, and he doesn't want Maurizio engaging with a woman that is, in his eyes, beneath him. You know, so he just kind of plays it off like, oh, so a truck driver, how many trucks does he have? You know, and it's like very arrogant and just kind of talks down to her.
Yeah.
Until she asks him about his acting career. And then it's so sweet because you could tell, like, when he starts talking about his wife, who was an actress, a German actress, you can see, like, the light comes back into him. And then, you know, he's just talking about her and he's very comfortable. And Patrizia knows how to play off of that. You know, she asks the right questions to, like, get him talking and make him feel comfortable. But the beginning of that conversation and that meal was very uncomfortable. You could tell, he does not accept, and he thinks she's a gold digger.
Yeah. And also, it probably didn't do her any favors, despite, you know, the fact that she's much younger, that she had no idea, like, who he was, like, as an actor. So he was just like, oh, it must have been before your time. And then she kind of pretended to, like, recognize one of his titles. And, you know, and I wonder if that, you know, they both had a humbling moment in that. Yeah. You know what I mean? That, you know, she got, I mean, I guess she's already humble because of her, she's not rich like him, but just like, oh yeah, I guess I don't have this kind of money. And then he's like, oh yeah, well, I guess I'm not as relevant as I used to be. So people aren't going to really know who I am. Yeah. Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, Rodolfo Gucci is played by Jeremy Irons,
who did amazing. Although I did, like, sit there for a second and think, like, I was like, be prepared.
He does give off those vibes. Oh my god, yeah. He was like,
He recently went back on stage and sang that at some sort of, at like a venue or whatever. And the dude's like in his 70s, maybe almost 80. Yeah. And he sang it and it sounded exactly like the original. Wow. And it was so good. Yeah, I was just like, damn. Let's go, Jeremy Irons.
Yes. Yeah. I just also like Jeremy Irons as Rodolfo Gucci. I just love everything about him. He's like, his mannerisms, the way he's like, you know, mafia, you know, stuff like that.
I know, the moment he said it, I was just like, damn, dirty money, okay.
Like, he semi-accuses Patrizia's dad of being in the mafia because he's like, you know, he has a company, but it's not good. It's not good enough, you know, it's not the best trade or whatever. So he's like, mafia.
Right. Yeah, you need something to put your dirty money in to mix with the good money so that it doesn't get traced. But yeah. Like, damn.
Yeah. And then he, like, has a little scarf on. And later when he's talking to his brother, Aldo Gucci, you know, he just has, like, those vibes, like, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
And everybody else sucks.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wearing that nice of a robe with, like, the whole, like, scarf thing, like, right here. Yeah. That's when you know you made it. If that's what you wear around your house. And not, like, you know, a one-piece pajama outfit, you know, like.
Or just completely nude.
with the hood and then, like, the unbuttoned thing so you can poop without having to take it off. You don't have to poop naked. Yeah. You know, like. To me, that's the luxury. Like, I want a Snuggie that has, like, a butt flap. But no, we've got a silky robe and a scarf, and that's when you know you're rich and you made it.
And his pipe. Or no, he doesn't have a pipe. He has a cigar.
That's right. That's more Italian. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, then Maurizio decides, okay, he wants to put a ring on that finger, and he tells his father. And he doesn't approve, and they have a huge fight, and he gets cut off. And he's taken out of the will. And, yeah. I love that scene, too, by the way. You know, Rodolfo's going, mafia, you know, having his rant. And Maurizio just stays calm, and he's like, I'm just so done with you, you know, and your ghosts.
Yeah, he's like, these are your ghosts, not mine.
Not mine. Not you know? Mine. Yeah. And then she's like, but she's not the kind of woman, or, you know, and he's like, I love what she is. So cute, and you're just like, oh no. Yeah. Oh, he's gonna get murdered soon.
Can I just
But
say...
I still love that he stood up to his dad for, like, I don't care about the money. I just want to be happy with her.
It really just goes to show like how like his moral compass was on like all the time. His only flaw was that he was just a little naive.
Yeah.
You know, but you could really tell that he could see what truly mattered. And the fact that he wanted to study to be a good lawyer. That conversation was so cute too. He's like, well, there's a few good ones out there. And she's like, yeah, they're all dead.
Yeah. Yeah. The dead ones. Damn.
Oh my God. Foreshadowing.
Oh yeah. Oh. Boof.
My brain went boof. Oh my God. So he packs his shit and one of the butlers helps take his stuff to Patricia's house. The dad and the mom are all out there and Patricia comes out later, but he basically asks permission to marry her daughter or his daughter, but he's just like, I have nothing to give her though, and I need a job. But I'm studying to be a lawyer, and but I have nothing to offer her. And then Patricia's like, Father, do something. So then the dad offers him a job to help run the trucks,
at the company,
wash the trucks, you know, do the manual labor stuff. And he's not bitching about it one bit. He doesn't care. He knows he's got to do his work to make his money. So,
and at this point, he is the happiest in his life.
Yes.
Which is, you know, so sweet. You know, it's humble work and he's having the time of his life. He's in love. He's doing labor that he knows is going to go, you know, into something good. And it's an actual family business, you know, where they don't all hate each other and scheme against each other, you know. So
I think it's so beautiful that he loses things to get happiness, but Patricia thinks she has to gain everything for her happiness. It's crazy how like this story parallels that in that what is happiness, you know,
which later rubs off on him.
It does.
Later in the movie, like in his days or something, when, you know, he's emotionally detached from her. He goes into that too. Like he's very materialistic then.
Yeah,
but
he does.
Right now he's like, you know, like you said, moral compass is on and he's very happy where he is with what he has. Yeah. You know, he's living in the moment.
Yeah. He's playing with the other workers and that cute little run he does. It's so awkward because he's so big and large and I love it.
He's like a baby giraffe.
He just learned to walk that day. And then they told him to run.
Oh, God. And then he runs to the scene that Graham Norton calls one of the best sex scenes he's seen in forever. Okay, so yes, it is very, very cool. Like the way they did it. It's just so well thought through. I don't even know if it was thought through or if it was just Gaga and Adam.
They didn't talk about like how it was organized or anything.
Yeah, no, they just went at it and he was really rough with her. Like he picked her up and slammed her against the wall and like for the first time I watched that, I was like, "Oh my God, Adam, be careful! It's Gaga, it's Lady Gaga."
And she's really little. Yeah, she's so little.
She's tiny. She's teeny tiny. Be careful with her. But yeah,
but then part of me was like, "Oh yeah."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The way he was rubbing on her and like grabbed her ass and then like lifted her up and I was just like,
Yep. He's a tiny moose, but no, he's not. Like you think that he's so insecure and like not confident and is shy around women, but then in that sex scene you're like, oh damn, he knows what he's doing. You know? It's a really good sex scene, just like Graham Norton said. In that interview on the Graham Norton show, they fist bump each other when he says that, and it's everything. and he's like, that is one of the best.
This ain't my first rodeo. This ain't my first rodeo. I've been doing these for 10 years now.
Yep. Yeah, and Lady Gaga is just like the way she grunts and moans. It's like, oh my God. Because usually like sex scenes in movies, it's like so slow and romantic and and this is just like bam, 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 bam.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah. I'm gonna drink after. Yeah, good. Yeah. And like, I mean, just not possessiveness, but just like that he's taking control, like he's what is it? What's the word?
Dominating. No?
Yeah, but like still in a consensual way. Like it's still very her oriented, you know? He's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but still want to make sure you're good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he goes
She's
down
so
on
into it,
her, like, to make sure she's, like, fucking ready.
Yeah.
And then the thing is, like, in the scene pack that I have, it doesn't have the grunt part, so I forgot about that. So then when I got to that part, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I had to, like, collect myself before continuing to watch. The part where she's, like, trying to help him, like, get his pants unzipped, and then he lifts his shirt up.
That moment right there is so hot. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yep. Anyway. So yeah, what I love, by the way, the editing of that, like, you got the sex scene and then straight cut to the wedding. And then in my head, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh shit, she got pregnant. She got pregnant.
No, right?
No, it's just the editing. Like,
yeah.
Straight to the wedding dress. Yeah.
And I have to say too, like, oh yeah, I noticed in the first part, all of her family is on that side. His side is empty.
Like
one couple that might have just spilled over from the other side. Nobody on his side.
Nobody on his side of the family came to the wedding.
He don't give a fuck. Well, he is looking at her. Mm-hmm. That is it. He's looking at her. That turn that he does, where he's like.
Mm-hmm. Where the camera like follows him. And
I literally was like, I think I said, "Oh my god" to myself.
That was well done. Yeah.
They know how to like get his angles right.
Ridley Scott knows how to shoot Adam Driver. He just knows the angles, the perspective. Ridley Scott. I feel like Ridley Scott is he's a rat because he knows what to do with Adam.
And I think, was it Jim Jarmusch or Noah that said that like it's like he has this headcanon like you do that Adam's indigenous. He's like, yeah, he's indigenous, and it's just like, well, that's not written anywhere, but I guess you have a headcanon. So and I didn't even realize that, well, I guess when you think about it, The Last Duel and House of Gucci came out back to back, literally.
Yeah.
So he worked with Ridley like right after another. The Last Duel came out after. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it came. Oh, no. Yes. Okay. So it came out after House of Gucci, but I think they started filming before House of Gucci.
Oh, I'm sure. Because
if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure, but I think they filmed Last Duel, had a break, and then they filmed House of Gucci. House of Gucci came out, and then the next year, 2020, Last Duel came out.
Yeah, because I think the Last Duel, it kind of makes sense that it would take more because there's like horses involved and like chainmail and armor, and the other one is just cloth suits and wigs. They're just they just told Adam like, look like a knight, be ripped as fuck, and show up with long hair.
Show up, yeah.
Got it.
And just brood in the corner.
Oh God. Okay. Anyhoozle. So they get married.
By the way, the wedding.
Yeah.
The way they look, it looks like the couple that get the mouse couple from Zootopia. That also good wedding. Like the same. Let me show you a photo.
Wouldn't it be really funny if they like that's like an Easter egg in the movie and like no one knows except Shelley because Shelley noticed.
Wait, okay. Look at this. That looks like
hair.
It's the
I'm
hair.
yelling at this mic. I am so sorry. How? Okay. Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god.
Oh my fucking god. I'm gonna save those photos so that I can put them in the Instagram account.
Perfect.
So for anybody that's not watching but just listening, those photos are gonna be in the Instagram post. Here's the original photo of them. Also, you can add it into the video now.
Here it is.
So here it is.
I like how it's flippity floppity because in the movie she's on the left and he's on the right, and then in that he's on the left and she's on the right.
Well, maybe it's just the flipped because of my phone and I'm like showing.
Oh,
maybe that's why.
Okay.
Oh, every time. Yeah. Every time the movie is like there are certain scenes that are in black and white. That's always because they took those scenes from real life. Oh. So they try to recreate those scenes that happened in real life. So the wedding scene, they try to really recreate it to make it look just like their actual wedding.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah. Every time it's black and white, it alludes to something that happened in real life.
Afterwards, it's in a magazine or a publication that they've been married, and Aldo sees this, and he's like, the fuck is this? So then he calls Rodolfo, and he's talking to him, and he's like, yeah, whatever. I don't fucks with him no more. And so then Aldo's just like, well, it's my birthday this weekend, you know, and it would be great if you came, blah, blah, blah. So then he ends up calling, or I don't know how these people find fucking phone numbers. I mean, I guess there's an Italian phone book. Anyways, but they call their residence, and it's so cute. Another sign that he's humble. He's ironing his clothes.
Yeah.
So cute. And then she answers, and of course, Miss Patrizia is always like the mediator of business that's not hers. But she's immediately like, oh, you're my new uncle. Oh, you know, I don't want to speak for Maurizio. He's right here. And he's just like,
Yep, does not want to talk to him.
And it's just, I never liked how she never like respected his boundaries. She always pushed him from the beginning, always. Oh. So then he gets him on the phone, and then eventually agrees to it because of Patrizia. And then they go, and it's this massive estate, obviously. Yeah. And then you really kind of see even more of the Gucci empire. Yeah.
Which the estate is at Lago Como, so Lake Como, where Naboo was filmed. So.
Naboo?
Yeah.
What's Naboo?
Padme's family home, where she's from.
Oh, okay.
That's Lake Como.
Sorry.
where they like get out of the boat, and like Anakin like takes her hand, and they like go visit her family. That was also filmed there.
Cool. I only saw those movies like once. Yeah. Like all the others, I watched them so that I could watch like 7, 8, and 9. You know what I mean? So that I could follow, but I am not like, it's not crispy.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's not crispy.
It's not crispy.
Like Anakin. Sorry. It's not as crispy as Anakin.
You burnt the Anakin how I like it.
Girl.
So they get there, and immediately it's a little off-putting because they're being so rough with each other. They're playing like really rough football.
Is it though? Is it football? I feel like it's something else. I feel maybe it's like an Italian. I think it's like an Italian version of football. As in, yeah. Yeah,
it's not football like soccer because they have the ball in their hands, but the ball isn't like a egg shape. It's still like round.
Yeah. I never found out what kind of sport that is, but maybe it's an Italian
form of like rugby and football.
Yeah.
Like football americana.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because like the men are barely doing any damage to each other. And then Maurizio comes up and he's like, get in there, come on. He's like, oh, no, I shouldn't. No. And then he eventually takes his jacket off, and he immediately just plows through these men like nothing. Yep. And I was like,
And that suit that he's wearing in that scene, it's on my shelf. It is on my shelf, ladies and gentlemen.
She did break it in. If you guys haven't seen our first episode, which... why haven't you? Go see it because you get to see how massive the suit is. And I was looking at his body in the suit, and the suit fit. It fit. So the fact that it was so big and long on you.
And don't worry not, because it was most likely dry cleaned, because I can tell you that he was probably sweating balls while he was doing that scene.
He did say that the clothes were comfortable, so that's good because costuming isn't always comfortable.
I can confirm it is very comfortable. It's very soft,
very good,
very. Yeah, I like it. Really quickly,
yes,
I want to merge into the story time real quick. So, of course, like the VIP fan auctions is where I acquired the suit.
Yes,
and the way it happened is kind of embarrassing, actually. So I put in my not bet, what's it called? My offer.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got, a little money laying around. I'm just going to try. It's probably not going to happen anyway. And, so I just kind of forgot about it. And I, put up 2 offers, like on 2 separate suits because I was like, there's no way that's not gonna happen. It was the suit that I own, so the one where he's playing the Italian version of football, that sport.
Yes.
It's that scene.
Yeah.
And then the other suit would have been the his suit that he got murdered in. So it's the gray one in the beginning and
that suit is so pretty. I think that's my favorite suit he wears in the entire fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very pretty.
So it's the one that you have, but I really like the gray suit.
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
On.
Oh my god.
Let me finish the story. So I 2 days later, I get the notification. Congratulations, you won! And I was like, oh fuck. And then I texted my friend Kelsey. Shout out to you, Kelsey.
Kelsey!
I texted her, I was like, oh my god, Kelsey, something just happened, and oh my god, and I told her about it. So, yeah, I had won, and I was like, okay, well, how do I do this? I forgot, exactly everything, that happened, but, the exact, but basically, I almost had a heart attack, and so I sent VIP Auctions the money, and they're like, okay, da-da-da. A day later, I got another notification. Congratulations, you won. And my heart stopped for a hot second. I had won the other suit as well. The one that he got murdered in. The gray one. Uh-huh. I won it, and that one would have been $350, I think. I was like, fuck, what do I do? I was like, Kelsey! I called her, and she's like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? And I was like, I don't know. And then she's like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna talk to my husband real quick. And he was like, all right, we'll just buy it then. So they sent me the money. I sent it to VIP Auctions, and I sent both suits to her place, because I don't live in the States currently. And she does. So I sent both suits. So I have one and she has one. And Ben and Kelsey saved my ass. Shout out to you guys. Thank you. And, yeah. I was like, I feel like a teenage daughter. I'm Ben and Kelsey's teenage daughter that, just fucked up. So yeah.
Kelsey. Mm-hmm. As I stated previously, that's my favorite suit. I don't want to buy it from you because I don't have that kind of money, but I would love to see you in it. I need to see it. I need to see it on a body because that is a gorgeous suit. Please, would you mind?
And it has, by the way, it has the holes in it too from where he got shot. 3 holes, 3 bullet holes. Yeah.
Kelsey.
So yeah, thank you again, Ben and Kelsey.
I don't know you, Kelsey, but
do
it. Oh my god.
And also really quickly, I have to say what she said. She couldn't send me money over PayPal. I had to type in my credit card for when I paid for the suits. So I was like, I don't have that much money on my card, blah blah blah. She's like, it's okay, I'll give it to you. You already have my address and my V card. You can have my credit card too. But let me explain the V card thing. I don't remember exactly what it was about. It basically, what was it? Either we watched a movie together that she had never watched, or something where she was a new timer in it. And so, I was like, please let me take your whatever virginity. And so she's like, you already have my address and my V card. My credit card too.
God. That's hilarious.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, so that happened. 2 heart attacks and a lot of dollars later.
Oh my god.
Sorry, hold on. Nah, dude. I don't know who it is. I'm not answering the door like this.
We are very different people. I went to Dunkin'. And you're like, no. I feel like it would be much different if I went to fucking Dunkin' as the Witcher. That would have been really funny. Just in my white wig and a white beard painted on and just be like, coffee.
Yeah. Then we meet Paolo Gucci.
Yes. First of all, it's everyone knows he's the idiot of the family. So why the fuck are you going to throw the ball to him?
Yeah.
You made such a successful plow through all your cousins. And then you're like, oh, Paolo's open.
Well, I mean, that's his only cousin. So I'm guessing he wanted to include him because Maurizio's always still sort of a family man, and he makes sure that everyone's included, and so maybe that's why.
The ball didn't go very far.
Nope, he got tackled immediately, and his nose started to bleed. Paolo.
And That's crazy that's Jared Leto under there, under all that makeup.
It doesn't look like him at all. You can tell his eyes.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we're like, yeah, okay.
I can only imagine how hot that must have been.
Dude, especially in Italy, in the sun.
Oh, yeah.
With all of those layers. And he did a really good job. I feel like in 2021 when it came out, people like really didn't appreciate Jared Leto as Paolo, but I feel like he still did a really good job.
Oh, Jared's always excellent.
Yeah.
Always. I think it was the Reputation Suicide Squad that really kind of like put a bad taste in people's mouths, and his Joker was polarizing, and then his behavior on set, the rumors about that, and just it off-put a lot of people. And then I know that a lot of things came out about him, like his cult thing, and like the way he's treated fans, like with 30 Seconds to Mars, and you just like, he's very good at what he does. Like, he's talented, he deserved all the awards that he's gotten, but he's probably not like the best person ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's it. But he's a big rock star actor guy, so you know,
yeah,
they can't all be like Adam.
Yeah, they can't all be. Yeah. That's very true.
But I remember Adam mentioning in an interview that he never saw Jared in his natural state until during press. Like, throughout the movie, he only saw him as Paolo. So.
Yeah. Whenever I think about Jared Leto and Adam, I always, like, my mind goes back to the red carpet moment where Adam has his arm around Jared. And I think in that moment, he thinks it's Lady Gaga because he's, like, kind of, like, holding him like he would a woman.
Yes.
Like, rubbing him. And then you could tell, like, once he notices it's Jared, his arm just drops. It's so funny.
It's like, oh wow, this is quite a feminine waist that I'm hugging.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh,
hello. Oh shit, it's a dude. It's a dude. Dude, that red carpet, him and Lady Gaga, it's just everything.
There were so many like funny memes, like of him, like it looks like he's checking her out, but he's not. He's just kind of like observing or whatever. But they're like in that long purple dress or whatever, and then it looks like he's like looking down like at her. But it's like so out of context.
Yeah. In those pictures, you can tell how tiny she is and how huge he is. Like, the contrast is just, she's itty bitty and he's ginormous. And them together, like, did you see the shoes that she was wearing? She had, like, very, very high heels on.
Well, she's 5 foot, so she's shorter than me.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's 6'3", 6'4". Yeah.
He didn't seem that big in person, though. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Oh.
It was kind of weird.
That's what she said, yeah.
Well, I don't know if he was just kind of leaning in to me, so maybe it seemed like he wasn't standing up like straight, so maybe that's why.
And just like the way he holds her like hand the entire time, it's so teeny tiny, it's like a child's hand in his huge ass hand.
Massive hands.
And she wears the ring that she has as Patrizia's wedding ring, or no, engagement ring or something. So she's wearing that, and you can see like she's showing him, and then he recognizes it. It's so cute. It's like, ah.
It's like, aw, my on-screen babe.
Yeah. I will murder you now.
It's his birthday, and after that, they all wish him happy birthday. They're singing him happy birthday at the table, and then there's a scene where I can't remember. They do have like a talk at like at a table, and then they leave. Is that what happens, or they just leave and then he gives her that envelope?
They're talking to each other like right when they leave, and they're like in the door. Yeah. And Franco has the door open, so he's like waiting for them to like get into the car and drive off. And he gives them an envelope for their wedding gift. And it contains flight tickets to New York, where he has the Gucci company. So the New York headquarters, I guess.
Right. And so then the drive home, Patricia is, of course, Maurizio is like, oh, it's coupons, it's not cash. And then she opens the envelope, she's like, it's not cash. And then he's like, Concord, to where? And she's like, New York. And then he's very hesitant, you know, he's like, and then she's convincing. Yeah.
And she's like, I want to go to New York. Let's go to New York. And then she drops the flight tickets in his lap and she goes, I want to go to New York. And then she, goes down on him basically while he's driving.
I didn't remember that part. So I was just like, and then, like his reaction to it was just like, he's like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, okay. Okay.
Eyes on the road, Maurizio.
Yeah. First, she calls. Okay, so Pina Aurielma.
Yes.
Pina who is the fortune teller on TV. She has like a show and she like reads cards and stuff. Patrizia calls her and wants to know her fortune basically. And then their friendship sort of starts. So she starts talking to Pina a lot and she becomes her sort of like a spiritual advisor. And she will be very important in the rest of the story. Because she's the one that like, you know, tells her, okay, if you wear this, if you do this, then you're going to be, you know, prosperous and you'll rise up on the social ladder and, you know, you'll get more money and you'll be a queen and, you know. So she follows Pina's orders in order to get what she wants. And what does she want? Everything. So you can tell greed is right up there.
But Pina has greed too, because there's no way she's doing all this for free. Like, she's paying her. So you also have to think about like Pina's motives are, and it's literally just like, this is a paycheck. I'm going to tell her exactly what she needs to hear.
She uses Patrizia completely because she gets money out of it. She gets luxurious trips. She gets handbags. She gets, you know, she gets all of these luxury items and perks. And so she tries to keep Patrizia on her good side and tries to keep her in her life so that she can feed off of that, you know, so she can get more.
It's crazy that, like, you know, Patrizia seems so observant of everyone's intentions, but she's so blind to Pina's.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
I mean, obviously Patrizia is a narcissist or has narcissistic tendencies. So Pina really feeds into that. You know, she tells her what she wants to hear. Patrizia semi-profits from whatever Pina has to offer because she thinks she's going to get what she wants through Pina. So yes, there's a semi-give and take there in that relationship.
Yeah. And that was Salma Hayek, who did amazing also.
Yes. Salma Hayek plays Pina and she's amazing.
Amazing. It's almost like and I'm not downplaying any of Salma's roles because she's always phenomenal, but this is like the most raw we've seen her. Like, she's very she's not done up and beautified as she normally is. I mean, she's beautiful regardless, but I'm just saying, like, compared from Dusk Till Dawn and Desperado, like, she's not the same kind of like role.
Yeah, there's rarely any makeup, you know, very, like, I feel like her hair, she doesn't really groom herself. That's the vibes that I get from her. You know, she lives alone in an apartment with like 10 cats, you know, and she's like very a recluse and not well groomed.
Well, if you're single with a bunch of cats, who are you grooming for? Nobody. So, and that's when you kind of really, if you're not suspecting it yet, you're really truly seeing Patrizia's real intentions, like complete real intentions.
Yeah. And that's when she starts to try to find a connection or like an in back into the Gucci family and the company. So she starts to develop a relationship to Aldo Gucci, you know, who, my uncle, and, you know, and he actually in real life, I don't know if this is just implied in the movie or if it was actually ever said, but Aldo buys Maurizio and Patrizia an apartment, like a suite in New York.
Yes. It's beautiful.
So that they have a place to stay and
got a great view of like the city there too that's shown. And then Maurizio is taking pictures of her posing, and then that cute scene in the hot tub where
I got so scared because did you see how close her hair was to those flames, to the candles?
That wig hair? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. Careful.
And then he knocked a candle over, and like the fact that he's climbing into that tub with them long ass legs. Those giraffe legs.
Those baby giraffe legs.
And he gets in there, like, how romantic and cute is that? But his poor glasses, she just like flicks them off and flings them across the dam. I'm like, damn, it's his glasses, girl. Anyways, they
have the money.
I guess, because when I was a kid, like, God forbid you threw my glasses. Oh shit.
I mean, I don't have glasses, but I know the sentiment behind it.
Then they go to the shop at one point, which is super cute because she walks out in this like suit, and he's like, he sits like this, and he's like, oh,
yeah. He's like, ooh, look at you.
Ooh.
And Aldo comes in, he's like, oh, what is that? Is that Gucci? Gucci can look that good?
And then, of course, Maurizio's like, is it on sale? And she's like, is it on sale?
Yeah. Like, how dare you?
And then Aldo's so sweet. He's just like, anything you see and want, it is yours. So.
Yeah. And then you can see the dollar signs in her eyes, like cha-ching, baby.
Yeah.
By the way, in that scene, I don't know if you noticed this, but like if you look, because Adam is so tall, his head is cut off when they all three of them, Al Pacino, Lady Gaga, and Adam Driver, are in the same scene next to each other. His head is cut off because he's so much taller than them.
It's like that edit I made where it's like the woman, the girl that plays like the daughter in Annette, and then the two producers, and then Adam.
He tall boy.
Tall boy.
Yeah. Aldo offers him the job of
Yes.
Gucci worldwide coordinator. And Maurizio's like, what does that even mean? Like, that's nothing, you know? And he's like, yeah, you know, just official affairs or, you know, public affairs, blah, blah, blah. So he like gives him a title or like a position that doesn't really mean anything to Maurizio, but he just wants him to have some purpose in the company.
Yeah. But it kind of makes sense because him having his attorney-in-law background, though.
Exactly, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But he just kind of made up a position for him just to like get him into the company or back into the company.
Right. I believe it is during their time in New York, but Patrizia tells Maurizio that she's pregnant, that she's expecting.
Yeah. I think that's when they're in Tuscany, when they go look at the cattle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They go look at the cattle.
So when they're in New York, she's already pregnant.
Yeah. I did notice that after she announced that she was pregnant, that she was still drinking.
Oh.
Yeah.
True.
Because I was looking at, and I know the 80s was a different time, but I'm pretty sure back in the 80s they knew not to smoke or drink while pregnant. And she was doing those things. But again, it was the 80s. Because I remember they were sitting at dinner and her liquid in her glass was brown, like it was whiskey or something. Oh, girl, that's a red flag. Yeah.
During all of this, while Mao and Patrizia are at Aldo's in New York, Paolo is back in Milan and visits Milano. Sorry. I'm not going to say the English word. Milano. And goes to visit, what's his name? Rodolfo. And he tries to do the same thing that Maurizio's doing with his dad, you know? So he's like, I want to see my uncle, you know? And he like shows him his designs because Paolo is a very unique designer. And nobody really likes his designs, and they're very out there and just doesn't match what what Gucci and their image is all about. So it, doesn't really coincide with that. And he tries to sell his designs to Rodolfo so that he could incorporate that into the company. But Rodolfo is like so fed up with it. He's sick. So his mindset is like, I don't have time for this bullshit, you know? Yeah. He's very sick. Also, the designs that he brings to him in his eyes are bullshit. So I was going to say he's going to let him down easy, but that's not true. He's like, I don't want any part in that crap. And then Paolo.
He says browns and pastels never go together. And then he mentions a scarf that's on the table. And he's like, that scarf has been worn by all these female celebrities.
Sophia Loren.
Yes.
Jackie O. Brigitte Bardot. And so he's like, this is a scarf. This is designer and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, you designed it yourself? And he goes, yes. And then he takes it when Rodolfo leaves. He takes the scarf and pees on it.
I love the way Jero does his Italian accent because it's so different from everyone else's. Because he might just be imitating the way he actually spoke, Paolo, but it's a lot higher. And he's like, oh, everybody does like my design.
He has to stand out a little bit because he's a black sheep of the family. And
I mean, Italians their accent always sounds like a melody, like a song, but I found Paolo's to be very melodic. And that's just probably because Jared is a singer.
Yeah. Buff. Like throughout the movie, always goes buff.
And then Aldo's like, he's a fucking idiot, but he's my idiot.
Yeah. Ugh. He says that multiple times in the movie. He's like, ugh, he's an idiot, but he's my idiot.
He's like, I still love my son. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a dumbass, but I still love him. He's mine. And so then Maurizio and Patrizia have their first baby, Alessandra. In real life, they have two daughters, Allegra.
Okay,
and
I was about
Alessandra.
To say, they had two kids, yeah.
Yeah, they had two daughters, but in the movie they only show one.
Got it.
I don't know why, but yeah.
And it's actually literally after Patrizia gives birth to Alessandra that a note is delivered to Maurizio saying that his father is ill.
Yeah.
And we slowly see that happening, like his face starts to change. I think Paolo comments on how pronounced his cheekbones are, just little accents of details. And so I don't know what time frame it is from the hospital to when they get out of that car. The baby's not with them, obviously.
Yeah.
But they go inside and sit with him, and he's hacking up a lung.
Mm-hmm.
And Maurizio clearly is still being distant with his father.
Mm-hmm.
He's not happy that he's there, but he's trying to be there because it is his dad.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Patrizia was, I see your dad, then he's sick. Go fucking see him.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, I feel like it's a good thing that she kind of pushed him to that because, yes, family is family, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't doing it from, you know, out of the good of her heart, you know? She obviously had superior motives, but still, he did need that because, like, he had nobody except her.
Yeah. But she knew saying that out, even if her own intentions weren't known, that would look good on her part.
Yeah.
Be like, no, this is your father. You need to,
Yeah.
And also Aldo was doing the same thing. It was like, you're old, he's young.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you're going to regret it. You're going to be a grumpy old man if you don't, have a life with your son. So I thought it was really sweet that she opens this locket and it's a little bit of Alessandra's hair in the locket for her grandpa Rodolfo. And he's like, I'm a grandfather. And then at some point, Maurizio gets up and he's like, my boy, and he hugs him. And I forget exactly what he said. He basically just says how proud he is. He's like, take good care of Gucci.
Yeah, that was a sweet moment.
It was sweet. And then the next scene, we literally see him
in a coffin.
Adam's hand is on his hands, and he's mourning his dad. And I guess it's the wake, so there's people there, and then they're immediately taken into a private room to talk finances.
Yeah,
and all his will and shit.
And that's when everything kind of goes down because his dad never put him back in the will. And it's never like shown in the movie, but it's implied that Patrizia forges his signature so that Maurizio's back in the will and they get part of the fortune.
Yes. And that's the thing that I didn't notice before until I saw a video about it. So there's this portrait of Rodolfo and it's signed. I didn't notice it signed when they did the close up of it. I'm just like, what the fuck is she looking at his dad like that? And then so later on, and of course they mentioned in the beginning that she was forging her stepdad's signature. He's like, oh, it looks exactly like mine. So then later when there's a scene later, guys, where they're like raiding their house, looking for this forged certificate. And then I realized, I'm like, oh, that's what they're there for. That's why the feds are there. I knew it had something to do with something. Yeah. I didn't make the connection until that point.
Yeah, basically the feds showed up because they weren't supposed to be in the will. They had no true entitlement to Rodolfo's money or any part of Gucci, actually. Yeah. And Patrizia forged the signature so that they were part of Gucci. And the feds found out and then, confronted them and they confiscated a lot of stuff that was purchased with that money. And that's why Maurizio flees to Switzerland. But we're jumping ahead a little bit. I think there's a little bit more,
yeah, I was trying to figure out where he went.
He went to Switzerland.
Oh, because of the strudel. Duh.
Yeah,
anyways.
St. Moritz. But yeah, so, backtrack. After the funeral, they move to New York. They don't just, stay there for Aldo. They actually move there, and he is part of the company, and he is now Gucci World Affairs or coordinator or something, worldwide coordinator or something. And that is when Patrizia discovers the fakes in New York.
Yes.
Fake Gucci handbags. I think her maid has a fake and she confronts her where did you buy this? Oh, really? And she's like, yes, it's a bag just like yours, ma'am. And she's like, oh yeah, where did you buy it? Right. And then she finds all of these fakes in the streets of New York and she buys them all or takes them all. And then she confronts Maurizio, have you seen this? This is going to look bad for the company. I feel like that moment you can kind of tell, okay, now she's transitioning into, she wants to dominate everything.
Yes.
She wants in on, being an advisor and being part of the company.
Yes.
Not just the family, but the company. Yeah.
I mean, she's not wrong with the fact that is detrimental to the name of Gucci, but it's just her approach. It's so aggressive. And you would think that she would be like, the aggressiveness doesn't work. And especially not with Maurizio. He is anything but aggressive. And so it's why would you go with that approach to be
right.
Because you can tell how off-putting that is for him as he's just he's like, it's my name, sweetie. And she's like, my name too. And she's just like, no. No. He's like,
oh yeah.
Like
That's-
you are married into Gucci. You're not born a
Mhm.
Gucci. Like that's and
Yeah.
she's so offended by that. Like she
Yeah.
wants to just be accepted as a Gucci so fucking bad. But you
Mhm.
have to earn that. You don't just get to stomp your feet.
Yeah. You're being such a cretin. Don't call me a cretin, sweetie. That is not what I said. I asked you not to act like or to be one.
To be a cretin.
Yeah, don't be a cretin, sweetie. It's my name on the box, not yours. Our name, sweetie, on junk. My husband, he quotes that a lot. Whenever we like have something, oh, this is mine, this is yours. Our name, sweetie. On junk.
Yeah.
There he is.
So then Aldo comes in, and both Maurizio and Aldo are kind of nonchalant about it. They're just kind of Maurizio.
Yeah, who cares?
Where it's like,
Yeah.
yes, it's like, well, damn, I would have bought one. I mean, that's a pretty good replica or whatever. And even Aldo's just like, well, it's just because you can't stop it. Like, even though it sucks, you can't stop people from doing what they're doing. If they're really good at making those duplicates, they probably just see it as like a hopeless thing to try to stop, I guess.
But also, like, the way Aldo approaches that situation, you can tell he's a rich man, because he dismisses Patrizia immediately because this is not a girl's game. And I'm just like, oh, he did not just say that. And you can tell in her eyes, not only is he dismissing her because she's not a Gucci, but he's also dismissing her because she's a woman.
Yes, that also ties back to what Rodolfo said, actually, when he gets the locket of Alessandra's hair. He says, I'm glad there wasn't a boy. There's too many boys.
Yeah, we need more women in the family. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The two brothers have very different ideas of gender and family.
Yeah. And also, like, the way they treat their sons. Because Rodolfo, even though he's harsh and he, cuts Maurizio off, he still loves him dearly. Oh, it's my boy, I love it. And then Aldo, on the other hand, he's like, my son's an idiot. He's my idiot, but he's an idiot, So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it feels like also how like Latin boys are treated. They're very much treated like princes in like the Latin world. So I feel like, well, Italian is, I think it's the same kind of cultural thing. Like the boys and the men are like held to a certain, exactly.
And also it's the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
So,
So sexism.
Not very, not very progressive in the 80s. When it comes to that, I mean.
Very true. Yeah.
Also, it reminds them that he's the one that made them. Like, he's responsible for them being... He also says, like, if it weren't for me, you would be still shoveling shit in Tuscany,
Yeah, exactly.
So he's, like, dismissing her on 3 accounts, Yeah. So that was the moment I was like, oh, he's not a sweet grandpa at all. Kind of an asshole. Then they go to a fashion show, and that's when you can really see that Gucci lost its credibility, because there's a moment where Maurizio is talking to some designer, and he's like, oh, maybe you will be a designer for Gucci one day. And he's like, nah, Gucci ain't shit, man. He's like, no one's gonna do that for Gucci right now. And then, I feel like he has an epiphany in that moment. Like, yeah, no, Gucci lost its credibility and nobody wants to work with them right now.
And he blames it on just how outdated Aldo is, like how old school he is and how he's not progressing to be more modern and to like keep up with the times. And so I feel like that's when they decide to try to align with Paolo. Yes.
Patrizia tries to persuade Maurizio again. There's a moment where she's like, it's time to take out the trash, so she kind of blames Aldo and Paolo for Gucci having such bad credibility.
And it's like she's so cold about it, and he's just like, this is my family.
Yeah, like, how could you say that? Yeah.
He's struggling with his mind because he understands the truth of what she's saying. Not that they're necessarily trash, but they could be the reason why Gucci isn't progressing like it should. So see, that's the thing. A lot of the time she's right about things, but it's always just her delivery and the way that she says it that is just so...
The way she does it, just very narcissistic, And then, so basically, she sort of tries to connect with Paolo. That's also the scene where it's the father, son, and House of Gucci. Because he tells her, basically, oh, can you keep a secret? And that's why she's like, father, son, House of Gucci. Yeah. Because he has dirt on Aldo. They're like, this could start a trade war, if this gets out. And basically the dirt is that Aldo committed tax fraud on like multiple accounts. So yeah, and then that information actually does get out because Paulo just wants to be respected by his dad, and he wants to be seen as someone that has an opinion and wants to state his opinion and has good input for the company. And so he just wants to intimidate his dad a little bit with that information, but it backfires and Aldo actually goes to jail for a year and a day.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, I was just supposed to scare him a little bit.
Yeah.
He was like, oh shit, this isn't what I wanted.
Yeah. And then Maurizio like tries to calm him down, and then he's like, how am I supposed to be calm if my father could drop the soap?
That's his concern.
Yeah. Paulo is just such a funny character. Like the sayings, like the idioms and everything, he just kind of gets it wrong.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I want to, detach myself from my dad. I want to be respected. I want to fly like a pigeon. It's like, you would say like soar like an eagle.
Yeah.
I want to soar like a pigeon.
Well, Mauricio does that at the beginning, at the party, where he's looking at his watch and it says it's midnight. What are you going, Cinderella, or whatever? And he's just like, I turn into a frog at midnight. And she's like, it's not a frog, it's a pumpkin.
Yeah. Later in the movie,
there's
another like saying that he says. I'm not gonna say what scene it is, but he goes to Mauricio. He's like, you have to know the difference between shit and chocolato.
Yes.
And he's like, there's a difference. They look very similar, but the taste is very different. Trust me, I know.
You had to put that in. That you know.
Wait, you tested that? Sir.
That's like what my aunt used to say about pears. She's like, it's like licking asphalt. And I was like, oh, so you know what that's like.
And how would you know that?
Yeah. So I was just like, what you know about licking asphalt?
Patrizia promises Paolo to distribute his designs, and then he's allowed to have a fashion show, but then without telling him, they report him for copyright issues. And so the feds show up, and the fashion show's shut down, and I don't know, is he sued?
I think so. So wait, what was the copyright again? Because that's what also Rodolfo said.
Yeah, basically he's using the Gucci name for his designs, showing that, and basically he gets profit off of it, and that's not allowed because he's not officially, he didn't have the official statement saying he's allowed to have a fashion show in the name of Gucci. And so they report him behind his back. Well, Patrizia reports him behind his back, shut him down.
Yeah.
And basically, he doesn't have to go to jail, but he has to, pay a shit ton of money. And then she reverses that and says, well, you could just, we could buy your share. That's her way of getting more of the Gucci brand, more of the company, percentage-wise. Mm-hmm. And then he has to, sell his share to Maurizio and Patrizia. Mm-hmm. And so that's 2 Gucci's down.
Is that when the feds thing happens, when they find out about the...
That's right after that. So they buy out Paolo.
Yes.
And then the scene with the shit happens. The shit and chocolate.
Yeah.
Also, in that moment, you can tell Maurizio, he feels remorse.
Yes.
But he also lets it happen. Yes, it's an asshole move. Sure, he feels regret or whatever, but he's still letting it happen. Yeah. That's his cousin. He let Patrizia do that,
Maybe that's the shift that Maurizio starts to kind of go, okay, maybe I do want a stake in this.
Yeah. And then immediately after that, I think it's the scene right after that, kind of happens to them. The feds show up and about the forged signature, and he flees to Switzerland. Yeah. And then Domenico, which is the family attorney, he asked Patrizia, what happened? Why is there a forged signature? I'm the one that showed you that you guys aren't in the will. What happened? And then she goes, oh, it must have been Paolo.
So yeah, he flees, and then he's like, okay, yeah, you can come whenever you're ready, to come to Switzerland, blah, blah, blah. So he finds some friends that are on the mountain, having lunch or whatever. So he joins them, hasn't seen them in forever, apparently has known them longer than he's even known Patrizia. Then Patrizia shows up with Alessandra, and then she's like, I'm not interrupting anything, am I? And he's like, no, why would you be interrupting anything? Hello, she's already really aggressive. And so they sit down, and then she's asking about the macaroons and how they like them or whatever. And then someone asks where they got them. And then she starts telling this really blown out story about her trip to Paris, just all these excessive details. And then he brings it up to her. He's like,
darling, we just want to know where the macaroons are from, and you're giving all this excess detail. It's not in. She's like, well, no one's complaining, and he's like, no one's going to. No one's going to do that.
Yeah.
So, and then she confronts him later, saying how he embarrassed her in front of those people or whatever. Is that when they have the big argument, or is that later?
That's when he like slams her into the wall. Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, you want to be a man? Maybe you'll grow a little." You know.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, you do.
or he gave her a necklace.
Yeah, he gave her a necklace.
Oh, you want a man? Or I didn't realize that he was saying, "Oh, you want to be a man."
Oh, you want the real man? You want the real man? Yeah. You want the real man? Here, maybe you'll grow a little.
And I'm just like, okay, because that's the first time we see some real aggression coming out of him physically. Because you know that he's been pushing it down for so long with her.
Yeah.
And she was insulting him to his face, straight up, calling him an idiot, that he's weak and that he's all this. And then, he's had enough of that. And it's crazy how later on, you know, she's still like trying to grasp hold of him for dear life, but still insulting him and being so awful to him. Like, why wouldn't he give his good graces to her? For her treating him like that.
Something in him just snaps, and he kind of detaches himself emotionally from her.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, from that whole scene, you can tell, okay, now this is the turning point for him. He's done with her. He's like, what I want from you is to stay away from Gucci. Like, you caused enough trouble. My uncle's in jail. His cousin hates him. The family's in shambles. Just stay away from Gucci. But he also falls out of love with her. And also because of the other woman, you know, Paola Franchi.
Yeah.
The blonde woman. I forgot the actress's name, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I forgot her name.
She looks familiar. I feel like I'd seen her before.
Yeah.
She kind of resembles Joanne a little bit, if I'm going to be honest. I thought
right? She does a little bit. Yeah. It might be the blonde hair, but I feel like, a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, he like kind of reconnects with her and falls in love with her because they knew each other from way back in the day, you know. They used to ski together and like they grew up together, went to school together.
And I also feel like if he still felt the same way about Patrizia. It's like it was a slow degression of love, and then that final argument was just like a final like snap. That love had been going away for a while because of just how much she was meddling.
Yeah.
And just showing these colors that he never saw before, and probably realizing that his dad was right.
Yeah. And he slowly starts to resent her. So, of course, the marriage slowly, comes to an end on his part. And, like, also you can tell, like, in that Christmas scene,
such a good scene.
First of all, Maurizio and Alessandra are playing a game, and she comes in with the gifts and sort of interrupts that. So, and then you can tell because he goes, oh, well, fine, we'll play later then. Yeah. So he's already annoyed at that she's so dominating.
Yeah.
And then, she gives the gifts and blah, blah, blah. And then he gives her his gift for her. And it's a gift card from a store that she never shops in. And
nice line that he says. What does he say? He says, he's like, now you can get whatever you want.
Yeah. Like, I don't, I always buy the wrong thing. Now you can get whatever the fuck you want, Yeah. And then she's like, I never buy here. And he's like, well, there's a first time for everything. I was like, damn. And then he like kisses her forehead instead of her lips. And you can tell, oh, okay. Yeah. He's detaching himself emotionally from her now. And also, like, the gift card thing. I mean, I get where he's coming from. He's just, like, fed up. But it's, like, so, like, him not being thoughtful at all. Which is how you can tell, okay, he doesn't care anymore.
Right.
He just does not care about her. So she's losing him emotionally. But also losing him through the company. Every little cord that she has is being taken away. So she's gonna lash out, of course, eventually. Then she like starts to find things that are wrong, and she thinks it's the other woman, which yes, a little bit, Of course, he falls in love with her, because he fell out of love with Patrizia. And then she confronts Paola at the slopes. Have you ever stolen something, Paola? I am trying to teach Alessandra the morals of, of stealing or like keeping your hands off of other people's belongings, basically.
Yeah.
And Paola's face is just like, bitch, what are you implying?
Yeah. And then what does she do with her cup and spoon? Do you still have that?
Oh, she goes, I'm not a particularly ethical person, but I am fair.
Yes.
And then Paola she gets the hint and then she, you know, takes off. She's like, I'll just have somebody else bring the strudel.
It's so pathetic though of her, because it's kind of like, it's like you realize you've already lost.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't realize that. Like, are you that blind?
Mm-hmm.
That breakup scene is great. He's
Yeah.
trying to ignore her, and she's not getting the hint. And then he finally is like, it's like, yeah, your hair looks nice, you know.
Mm.
And then she's like, oh, we should try to do blah blah blah. Then he's like, oh, I gotta say something. I gotta say this right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sits down next to her, takes her hands, and is like, I am going to send you and Alessandra back to Milan tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And she's immediately like distraught, slaps him, touch away, doesn't want anything to do with him.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he goes back to New York, and then they're back in Italy. So then this other company, these other designer manager type figures,
investors. I think it's an Iraqi company. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know all the legalities of everything, but he does use them also to get the last shares from Aldo and Paolo, because Aldo's now out of prison.
Yes.
That scene, by the way, trying to find his Fiat was hilarious. Fucking Aldo finds his car. That
was so funny. Yeah.
That was so good.
There are like little moments where you can see that Paolo isn't doing so great. Like his wife left him. He's very poor, you know, because he had to sell his share, which probably wasn't that big of an amount of money that he got for it. And he's just living, I think he lives in London, right?
Yeah.
Because his wife was from London. Yeah, and then Aldo comes to live with him to like try and get everything back to, you know, normal. But that doesn't happen because the Iraqi company tries to buy his share too. And that's when Paolo tells Aldo, he's like, I sold my share. And he just goes berserk. He's like, no, you know. And you can tell like, oh, the empire is falling. It's crumbling.
Yeah, all his hard work is just like going to shit. Yeah, so you can tell that Aldo's trying to keep it together with those investors. And then he's like, okay, who put you up to this? Who told you this? Blah, 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 blah. And then Maurizio walks in. And he's like, you fucking traitor.
Like the way he looks at him too. Like first he's just like, oh, you know, and he's like, Maurizio, you fucking traitor. You know?
Yeah.
Like there's still some love there, but also he's like, you disappointed me. And I mean, they all know who's at fault, you know, they all know it's Patrizia.
Yeah.
That was behind it all, you know, but however, Maurizio is now also an asshole. You know, he let all of this happen. Like he didn't stand up to somebody that was meddling with his life and his family. He let all of that happen. He didn't say, no, he's my cousin, I'm not going to do that, period. He let it all happen. Now he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, and he starts to kind of be a little spendy. He buys a car, he's got a penthouse, he's doing all this. And then they're still having an issue getting designers to work with the brand. And then they find a young Tom Ford from Texas. And by the way, the actor that plays him, phenomenal. If you've seen Penny Dreadful, plays Dorian Gray, who is
that's him?
Horrible Man.
Holy shit, I didn't know that.
From Penny Dreadful, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a singer too. I think he has a band or whatever, but he's a singer too.
Yeah.
Anyways, so when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh my god, I know him. He does such a good job. Like you really grow to like Tom, and you can tell that he's really modern and forward.
Ferre, Armani, and Versace. Where are they?
Ferre, Armani, and Versace.
Ferre. I love how he says that. Ferre, Armani.
Ferre. They divorced, and then he started buying a bunch of stuff. He hired Tom Ford.
They didn't divorce. He just gave her the papers, but they never.
Oh, right.
Actually
well,
divorced.
They separated. Okay, they separated.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Because that's key. The fact that they didn't divorce, that's very important for the story.
Yeah, that's true.
He wanted to divorce her. He gave her the papers through Domenico. And, bless you. God bless you.
Grazie.
Prego.
And then she's pissed off because he didn't come and do it himself. He had his guy do it, but obviously why would he? Like Maurizio wants nothing to do with her or have any sort of interaction with her. So of course she does the whole narcissist guilt tripping thing. You know, she doesn't even come to her recital and blah, blah, blah. And you know, and he's like, you're showing up to her school like this and then she's freaking out about papers. She's like, I don't want no fucking papers.
Yeah. And he's like, shared custody, and then she's like, excuse me, what are we talking about? Divorce? And then she starts to like cry. and, tries to get him with the tear ducts, basically, but it doesn't work.
Right. Crocodile
He
tears.
stays strong.
Yep.
And then she starts to scheme with Pina. They're, she's shit talking him, and they're like making manifestations and what's it called? Like not spells. Well, yeah, no, she said I will curse him or something, right?
I think so. I remember that when he's with the blonde and they're about to get intimate, and she's like in the corner, like,
yeah.
And then Pina's just like not saying anything because she just knows the truth and she can't bring herself to tell Patricia what he's up to.
There was a scary moment where he was in the new fashion show with Tom Ford, when Tom Ford is then the designer for Gucci.
Yeah.
And you can see, because she's stalking him and terrorizing him. Like, she's constantly like phoning, leaving these weird, creepy messages on his home phone. Answering machine, thank you. And so then there's a moment during the fashion show where he like looks and then he sees her, but then she's gone again. So I don't know if it's like him imagining things or if she was actually there stalking him. It could be both.
I mean, based on our conversation earlier about the beginning of the film, like her ability to track, it wouldn't surprise me that she's showing up where he is, and she shows up at is that his front door?
I think it's probably the company headquarters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So she shows up there with like an album, and she's like just crying and
manipulating him.
Yeah. And then he basically just says, "You're humiliating yourself. Our chapter ended a long time ago. This has ended." And then she's like, "But I love you." And then he's like, "I do not love you. I don't hate you, but I don't love you." And that is like the final like nail. Like, she's like, there is no getting him back now, like, at all.
Yeah. And she even goes like, "Oh, I did not know that I married a monster." And he's like, "You did not marry a monster. You married a Gucci." And I was like, oh. But also, really quickly, when she goes, "Oh, Alessandra misses you." First of all, it's not good for her to like use their children.
And he caught that on real fast.
Yeah. But, however, he says, "Oh, I saw Alessandra 2 weeks ago." 2 weeks is a very long time for a child. So, like, I don't know whose side I want to be on in that moment, because I'm like, the mom is actually looking out for the kid, and Maurizio, the dad, doesn't give a shit. 2 weeks ago? Really? Wow. Okay. And he like says that as though he's like justified for his actions. Like, "I saw her 2 weeks ago. Don't use her against me."
Yeah, that's actually like when my parents were divorced and my mom had full custody. I would see my dad every other weekend.
Wow.
So that was kind of like 2 weeks. Sometimes I would get him in like the middle of the week, and then he would just, take me to the babysitter or whatever in the morning instead of my mom, or he would pick me up instead, like every now and again. It was occasional. It was mainly every other weekend.
Right.
So that was kind of normal-ish. And I'm not defending him because that is kind of asshole-ish, but I wonder, since he's so busy, that time goes by so fast, that he may think that isn't that long ago, just based on how time is going for him. But I'm not saying that that's not.
Yeah, no, it's not justified.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's like slowly turning into an asshole too, I mean, he's spending a lot of money on shit he can't afford, cars and villas and, a lot of stuff for his new girlfriend, Paula. And the company is catching on to that.
Yeah, it was kind of irresponsible as someone who, it's almost like it's like he cares about Gucci, but not in the same way that like he should.
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, I'm the one that brought you Tom Ford." I was like, "Actually, the other guy brought you Tom Ford. You just kind of like accepted him. If that's all that you're bringing to the table is that you listened to your advisor and brought on a designer."
Yeah.
So when they had that talk there, he's like, "Well, I thought you didn't care about numbers." He's like, "But I care about terrible numbers." And they're losing money to where they're not going to be able to pay staff. And then they bring up his expenses and, it's like, was that all very necessary? To be buying all that stuff. And, he could have easily just been like, "Oh, well, I'll just sell it."
Yeah.
He could have easily just been, "Oh, well, you're right. That was dumb. I'll just sell it and give that money back to the company and we'll do what we got to do."
Yeah.
He was really making excuses, covering his ass. Even if he was thinking logically, like he's like, it'll take about 5 years to get out of this slump because that's just how it works. And even if that's true, he's still responsible for the lack of money because he's using the money for his own personal expenses.
Yeah, very true. So, of course, they have a sit down with him, and they basically tell him, you need to stop spending, and we would also like to make you an offer. And the turntables, the tables turn, and they offer him not a lot of money. I think it's like 150 million. I mean, yes, that is a lot of money, but like for the Gucci, it's not a lot,
Yes. Well, this is coin change.
Yeah. It's like, are you trying to buy me out? Like, yeah, karma's a bitch, And then they name the CEO Domenico, the attorney. And so Patrizia was right about a lot of things. And again, like you said before, like it's her approach and the way she handles shit just isn't okay. But she was kind of right, in a lot of things.
But it kind of makes sense though, because like her being an outsider, he had the same thing. Like, well, I'm an outsider, so I see have a different perspective. Well, so did she. And they were both able to see things that others didn't see. He ended up being kind of a snake all along as well. So, but Maurizio trusted him because he was his dad's advisor for so long. But it's like, you kind of have to crawl through the mud quite a bit before you can get up there.
Yeah, and while all this is going on, Patrizia and Pina are scheming and are planning his murder. Because she's like, I am so positive, like, I want to do something. And then Pina's like, well, there is one other thing we could do. Because spells apparently aren't working. Curses aren't working. There's one more thing. And then also in that moment where they're like in the mud bath.
Yeah.
You can tell Pina is just a leech too, because she's like, Patricia's like, oh, maybe we should do another curse, blah, blah, blah. And then Pina's like, yeah, we could, but let's wait until we get back from the Caymans. Like, come on, like, she's literally just trying to get that money. And then they meet up with, oh God, what's his name? Ivano and Benedetto?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And I think they went to school with Pina, so that's how she knows them. And they basically hire them as hitmen, and they plot his murder.
And then they end up changing up their pricing like last minute.
Yeah.
Probably, they actually figure out who the fuck he is and how important he is. And then she's like, I pay you 600 or whatever she said. I'm not paying you anymore. So then he's like, well, it's going to be a rush job then. So I think that's actually when it reverts back to the beginning scene, right?
Yes.
Where he's enjoying his espresso at this cafe, enjoys his cute little bike ride, drops his bike off with the attendant, I guess, of his house or the Gucci wherever. Then they have a photo of him in the car and they're just like waiting, and then they see him and then that's him. And then they address him to make sure it's him. He looks at him. Maurizio tries to, he's kind of stunned and then he's like, oh, I gotta go. I gotta run. So then he tries to run, but they shoot him 3 times.
And then
he dies pretty much instantly. Like he gets pretty still. I think they probably got him in the chest a couple times and that's probably what did it.
And then once in the back, I think, or I think even once in the head or something.
I didn't see it could have been a headshot, but there were definitely 2 through his body that I remember seeing like from his back. Yeah. And then once he was on the ground, they shot him one more time laying down. That could have been either right in his chest or in his face. You couldn't really see his face. And then they shot the attendant who probably died as well.
Yeah. It was the doorman.
The doorman, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he died unfortunately as well. In real life too.
Yeah. And that was March 27th, 1994.
1995.
At 8 a.m.
He had the meeting with the ambassadors and then the new CEO, Domenico. And then he went to have his espresso. And then right after that, he got shot. So he lost everything. He lost his company, his family, the Gucci family, and then in the end, his life. So
yeah, my heart was like wrenching. I was just like, Adam's not dead. Adam's not dead. Adam's not dead. Adam's not dead. Because I'm just like, okay, how many times has this man died? I mean, he hasn't died like a Sean Bean amount.
True. But I know there's multiple ones because that was like a whole meme going through the internet. Like, can we just get one movie without this man dying in the end? When he dies and basically they're going to the funeral.
Oh, yeah.
Patrizia shows up with Alessandra and Franco at Paola and Maurizio's estate.
Yeah.
And this is why I said beforehand, like, this is important that they're not officially divorced yet. She walks in, hugs Paola, and, you think, oh, okay, maybe they're making amends or whatever. No, she hugs her and goes, could you please escort Miss Franchi out of my house? Because she's still married to Maurizio when he passes, so everything in his name,
goes to her.
Transfers to her.
Yeah.
So she basically evicts Paola, who had lived there for, whatever, many years with Maurizio. In that moment, I was like, oh, you are such a bitch. But also, that is such a boss move.
I mean, she's like, the legalities are there. I am still his wife.
I am still Mrs. Gucci. Yeah, and then it springs to the courtroom, and that right there also when he's like, Mrs. Reggiani, Signora Reggiani, and she's like, you can call me Patrizia Reggiani or Signora Gucci.
Yeah. And you're like, damn.
Yeah.
They all got like almost the same amount of sentence, except the one that actually pulled the trigger. He got a life sentence.
He got life sentence.
Yeah.
Wait, what was his name? Benedetto Peralo or something. He got life sentence. Patrizia got 29 years. Pina got 25. And then Ivano Savioni, 26 years.
So she's definitely out by now, right? Or about
She's
to be
out.
Yeah.
She's alive and kicking. By the way, like her whole sentence, she did 29 years. Not 1 year less, not one more. And they did approach her with a bargain, basically saying when she gets out later in parole or something, if she works at, like, inside the prison, I forgot what the exact job would have been, but she turned it down. She turned, like, the bargain was if she works in the jail for whatever, again, then her sentence will be not cut in half, but, like, reduced.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she said no. She's like, I have never worked a day in my life. And I will not start now. I was like, damn.
But you could have got out sooner, Mama. Like,
she didn't care. She doesn't want to work.
I wonder if her daughter wants anything to do with her. Probably not.
No. Either Alessandra and Allegra, they don't want anything to do with her or Gucci or anything. But Alessandra got everything, which was like 400 million.
Good.
Yeah. So she has the money and the fortune, but she has no ties to Gucci whatsoever. There's no family member currently in the company.
It's so awkward when I'm at work and I see the Gucci name there. Great products, but I can't help but think like the sad history behind it to where it has come now.
That, and also she got a pet ferret. Somehow in prison, she had a pet ferret and got like her own cell that wasn't like the standard of a regular cell. Like it was a little bit more luxurious. How did she get all these perks? Like how?
Because she's charming as fuck.
Yeah,
she did something. She said something.
So, and also the ferret died because somebody sat on it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. Somebody sat on the ferret and it died.
Shelley, that's not funny. That's a poor ferret.
I'm sorry.
So are you saying the ferret was flattened?
Yeah.
And I also thought that the ending was sad because you learned that Aldo died of prostate cancer in 1990 and that Paolo died in poverty.
Yeah, in London.
In poverty is such a vague umbrella statement. Like, did he starve to death? Did he get sick because he couldn't afford to go to the doctor? Like, it just makes you wonder, like, oh my God, like, what happened? But that was like in 94 before Maurizio.
I think it was the same year. It was 1995, I think. Yeah.
It just makes you wonder, like, it's like he fucks his family over and, and now they're dead.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if he was probably regretful because they're dead, but also think like, oh, thank God they can't like do anything to like get back at me or anything.
I think Patrizia's alimony was like $1.4 million, I think. It's not euros. I don't think it's dollars. And I think she still gets like a monthly, it's not alimony anymore because he's dead, but she still gets money from Gucci. And it's a lot of money, because it's still part of the settlement.
Yeah.
And she's still in Milano, and she like walks the streets with her pet ferret. Not pet ferret, her pet parrot. She has a parrot. Have you seen photos of her now?
I saw that she had red hair in like an interview. I don't know how recent that was though, but.
All right, so here it is.
Oh my God. She is like too much.
She just has a pet ferret, and like, I think now she's in a wheelchair, so she's, getting rolled around Milano with her pet parrot. And she has no contact to either Alessandra or Allegra.
Makes you wonder in those 29 years if she finally like got some, regrets over her actions, or if she's still like, oh, yeah, whatever. I did it. And I did my time and I'm free.
It seems like that because like she even works like for some jewelry company. I think she's like some kind of advisor for a jewelry company. I honestly don't think she has any regrets. Maybe, but it doesn't seem like it. She's just like living her life. She still gets money from Gucci. She doesn't have to work, technically. But she's, her whole motto is just like, I don't need to work. Money's gonna come my way either way, you know? In an interview, I think this was when he was already murdered, Maurizio. He said, "It is better to cry in Rolls Royce than to be happy on a bicycle." It's just, that's heartbreaking to have a mentality like that.
It's also because I just had the image of Maurizio happy on a bicycle.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why they did that. Maybe they incorporated that into it.
I mean, unless that's actually what he was doing also when he died.
Maybe. I mean, he did ride his bike to work a lot because I guess he lived in close vicinity to Gucci headquarters. But still, that's, wow.
It just makes you wonder if it's like a dark undertone to what she was saying, like alluding to his death, but then and then also the fact that it's in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I wonder what she thinks about the movie.
She hates it. She did get interviewed on the streets one time, and she is furious with Lady Gaga because Lady Gaga would not visit her and talk to her. It's like, of course she's not gonna talk to you. You're a fucking murderer. Why the fuck would she talk to you? But she just felt entitled. Yeah, because the movie's about her, you know, or she was involved in the Gucci family. And so, of course, the person that's portraying me in the movie has to come see me. Like, no. Yeah.
That's an actor's performative choice.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And also, like, she doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Like, again, you're a murderer, you know.
I do want to just address the amazing things that was said about Adam on set. About his performance in Gucci from Ridley, from Al Pacino, from Jeremy Irons, from Gaga. And I don't know if you saw that same interview.
Adam Driver is a rare breed. He's one of the best in the business right now.
I love his sort of quiet accuracy and authority and his choices as an actor.
He brings a dimension to the film that lifts it and grounds it at the same time. It's nuanced, very nuanced.
He has a way of approaching a script that is unparalleled. And I just had the most wonderful time creating with him.
Wow. That's cool. That is very high praise. Justified praise, but yeah.
That's just so amazing.
I just love that whole cast.
Just coming from big legends like that, just showing how much of an elite actor he is in the business right now, to have those kinds of compliments come to him. Like, that's so awesome.
It's amazing. You're doing great, sweetie.
We love you. You're so talented.
We're very proud of you.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure people in his life, you know, tell him he's proud, but in case they don't, we'll tell you we're very proud of you, Adam. So I love Lady Gaga and Adam's relationship. I feel like I say that in every movie. I love their relationship, but it really is so cute, and like they play with each other, and like they're very playful. Have you seen the Graham Norton show with Adam and Lady Gaga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Oh, so good.
It's so good. Yeah, Josh Gad is also on the couch, but I think it was like right after COVID, so like they're not all on the same couch. You know, they're a little separated. Go watch that interview, like that whole episode. Yes, it is 45 minutes long, but it's so good. Their interactions, the questions.
Yeah, and the way that Adam interacts with the other guests too. And they actually bring up the fact that we talked about that Josh Gad didn't get into Juilliard, and he talks about what happened. And Adam talks about his journey very briefly to Juilliard. We go way more in depth, but he's like, oh God, I gotta explain all this now. So he starts explaining. But I just love the way that Lady Gaga kind of puts him in a corner with her jokes, and he has to just kind of take it. Like with the every fucking day, and then he's just like, oh yeah, and then Graham's like, she's still doing it, and he's like, and then about him, like the scene going really fast, and he's just like.
Yeah, because he's like, in the sex scene, you know, it was good that Ridley Scott, you know, likes momentum, because the sex scene, it was really quick, and then you tell he's like, like there's a little, you know, I'm not that quick, okay? Yeah, Graham's like, it's just long enough, okay? And then Lady Gaga, she's like, realizes what she just implied. And she's like, it's an easy grab. He's like,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Oh my God. The suggestive talk is everything because we don't get that much from Adam with that anymore. I think the last time he got a lot of that was like on Girls. That one interview where he's like, because the things you say during sex or so, and he's like, awesome.
Awesome.
He doesn't get to talk about sex scenes in that way until this. So it was kind of nice to have him like be a little loosey-goosey on the couch, maybe having a little drinky poo and then be able to kind of, not that he doesn't joke anyway, but it's just the nature of the Graham Norton show.
And also Lady Gaga, I feel she's
So
like
good.
that too, you know, so I feel like she kind of tickles that out of him too.
And I love how like he can't take a compliment. Like she's like, I just want to thank my fellow actor, and he's like, yeah, no, okay, yeah.
Like no,
And
okay.
and then she's like, do you see what I have to fucking deal with? And I'm just like, fuck yeah, we do. Dude, this is like, he's just like, I'm just existing. Like, what do you want from me? And you're like, hello, do you know who you are?
Part where Graham's like, okay, somebody explain the movie, like the plot, and then they look at each other in that moment where nobody starts talking, and she goes, she's like, come on, say something, and then he has to start explaining, because I can tell, like, she's obviously the bubbly one, and he's like the reserved one, but it's like a group project or like a partner project. I'm not doing this alone, you say something too.
By the way, I remember when that movie came out, I was like adoring Gaga's makeup in that era. I don't know what it was. I mean, I always love her makeup, but there was something about her makeup in that era. It was like a nice thin line bordering her lips, and it was just clean. She was like dewy skin, but not too shiny. I was like, oh, this makeup is everything.
She looks so good. And just like that dress at the red carpet.
Yeah.
The premiere.
That purple dress.
Oh, that purple dress looks so good on her. Oh,
so good.
She was gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Is gorgeous. I love that
I will
era.
have to say there was the House of Gucci interviews because it was through COVID, so they were mostly online. So he's just sitting in a room, and all these reporters are kind of slowly coming through the camera and like talking to him. And they ask, one of the girls asks him about like, oh, so like what before you were filming, like, did you have any Gaga on your playlist? Like, what's your favorite Gaga song? And he's like, oh no, he's like, I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything, but like I knew of songs, but I didn't really like listen to her music, and you know, it didn't really come up when we were acting together because I met her then, so I don't need to be asking about what she did before because I'm working with her now. And, you know, we didn't really talk about that because she's acting with me. So we're talking about acting, or we're not talking about her career or whatever. I loved that he really understands that Gaga is a persona, and he says that she's acting in that too. Like that is something that she puts on as a performance. And the fact that he recognizes that, even if he's not, I definitely wouldn't peg Adam for a Gaga fan. I'm sure he'd be like, what y'all about romance? Like if he heard it, but he's not like cranking that on in the car. You know what I mean? Like on a regular.
He's aware of it.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. The interviewer didn't mean to put him in the corner, but he's like, oh fuck, I don't want to say anything wrong here.
Yeah. I don't want to be offensive.
Yeah. I kind of wish they had some sort of talk with music, because of just how he sings, you know, not sings quite like her, but sings. And maybe they'll end up working together again and they get to sing together.
Ooh, that would be cool.
I would love that.
Awesome. Ooh.
He did say that he saw her in A Star Is Born. So it's when you think about the projects that she does pick and is in, you know, he chose the one that she got the Oscar.
We need to get him an Oscar now too.
Gaga in that interview, Graham's like, you've got to get to Tony now. And she's like, why? And he's like, because then you'll be an EGOT. She's like, no, because I'm an ego.
I'd rather be the ego.
Well, Adam has won. He won Emmys and Golden Globe, just not an Oscar. Yeah. And he won a Tony.
He was nominated twice for an Oscar.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's got everything but the Oscar then.
No, he doesn't have a Tony. Oh, does he? I think he was only nominated for a Tony.
Oh, that's right. He's a nominated EGOT. Oh. So he's an egg.
He's an egg.
He's an egg.
He's an egg.
I hope he gets it. I'm waiting for that role. I feel like we're going to know. I feel like that happened with Leonardo DiCaprio with The Revenant. Like you saw that. I'm like, dude, this guy was in a moose carcass. Get this man a fucking Oscar.
Yep.
Did you see The Revenant?
Yeah. Wasn't that a horse carcass though?
Oh, it was his horse. That's right. Because they jumped off that cliff and he died, but his body was still warm. So he like, ugh.
He pulled a Bear Grylls.
Yeah. But yeah, after that, I was just like, damn, get him an Oscar. Fuck. What does he got to do now? But, you know, I know that Adam's not picking roles to get that. Of course, he wants to, I'm sure he would love to have the honor of that, but he's still going to pick. Sometimes I wonder about him. He'll pick
things that, he's like, I like the writing in the script, and they wrote the role for me, and blah, 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 blah. And then other days he's just like, dinosaurs are in it. I like dinosaurs.
Yep.
Let's do it. And I'm just like, dude.
I love his process.
Oh my God.
Thank you so much for joining us today on the Mauricio Gucci show. I'm Mauricio Gucci, and this is Mauricio Gucci. And
I am the older version of this Mauricio.
He's the older one who's fucking pissed off and wants to be single, and I'm the one that's young and naive, and I fucking love her.
I love what she is.
I love what she is.
It's always a pleasure to do cosplay with you. I love it. I was so excited because you were like, I'm going to do the sweater scene. I was like,
Oh, she's also so comfortable too.
I bet. I don't even know which Maurizio I'm doing. Like, obviously the hair, we know what era I'm doing, but I really don't know which outfit I'm doing. I thought this coloring was very Maurizio. He liked cool tones and grays a lot.
Yeah.
And this is just the polo from Target. Because that's where he would shop.
Nice.
This is a Goodfellow polo for $12. So Gucci.
So Gucci.
This is from Goodwill. But it's great. Even when I stand up, I look like him. Hold on. I'm going to back up. Like, look at, like, from afar.
Mm-hmm. Definitely got
not
the vibes.
pants,
the
like
hair.
like,
yes.
but it is kind of big. I feel like I'm wearing Adam's jacket right now. Look how big this is on me.
True. He could fit in that, yeah.
It's so big. Like it's kind of fitting here because I'm curvy, but it's big everywhere else because I'm tiny. My hair is just not holding up anymore. It's just getting redonkulous.
Yes.
Thank you for coming to the Gucci show, and we came back from the dead to do this for you. So we're gonna go back to sleep now. Okay. Well, thanks for coming to the Gucci show. We came back from the dead to do this. So
thank you for listening in, and rats, stay hydrated and stay fed, and always remember Father, Son, and House of Gucci.
Gucci. Eat your Italian soup. Make sure you eat chocolate and not shit. And,
good soup. And fly like a pigeon. Yes, fly like a pigeon. You can either soar like an eagle, but also you can fly like a little pigeon. Both.
Don't turn into a frog at midnight.
If anything, turn into a pumpkin.
Yes, very good pumpkin soup too. Okay, so you can find us at the Good Soup Great Driver on Instagram and TikTok. I'm not going to do that in the Italian accent. You can find us Good Soup Great Driver on Instagram and TikTok. You can find me on Instagram at Starry Eyes, StarryEyes, and TikTok at What's Up Shannon. And take it away, Shelley.
Yes, you can find me on TikTok and on Instagram. Both are I've Always Been Solo, BENSOLO. That is it.
And if you're spicy, it's I've Always Been Swolo. Just kidding. Yes. No, it's not. Because have y'all seen Shelley and Kylo drag? Might as well be Ben Swolo. Okay, let's go. Just kidding. Okay. We can't give you any sort of idea of what the next episode's going to be, but it's going to be great. And we can't wait to do it for you. Ciao.
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 Until the next time.
Bye.
Buonasera.
Scusi, bye. If you survived this episode, please go follow us on our socials that we mentioned, and give us a follow on YouTube and Spotify so you are notified when we post. Stay fed, rats.
Good soup.
Great driver.